welcome to this fine Tuesday. We've got a full house today. 6 adventurers playing Dungeons and Dragons. Welcome back, Stu, after your week off.
Thank you very much.
We've had a lovely
in the big house.
yeah. We've had a lovely weekend away. We'll play. What do we play this weekend, boys?
Ludo
The big one!
Twilight
Imperium 4!
It was the big one.
11 and a half hours.
It was epic. It was epic.
But it felt like 20.
Yeah. It did. For anyone
Only
who,
felt like 20.
for anyone who's not played it before, it's a once in a lifetime experience.
It is.
Pretty good fun. But once in a lifetime, or maybe twice, once a year. I think I'm okay with once a year on it.
We'll play.
You're ready to go again?
Yeah.
I'll play the
I'm
next
ready to
day
go.
easy.
You're
Yeah.
ready.
I'll play right now. Let's cancel the stream.
That's
Let's
what we're
go.
doing.
That's good.
After 3 hours, it's easy to play.
What time will we finish if we start now?
Tomorrow.
That's
Yeah.
fine. Ready for work.
Tomorrow
Let's
at 6
go.
o'clock in the morning.
Hello, boys. Pink lemonade?
Mom! And we're back.
Hello, everyone.
Last time there was quite a lot of black smoke and fire, I seem to recall. Would you like to give us a quick recap?
Don't you dare take too long.
We haven't done a recap for 2 sessions, so I will recap the 2 sessions. Combat, death, black fire is essentially the summary I'll give you.
Yeah.
We've been fighting a number of mercenaries who have blue trousers. That's their core thing. And a
Blue
logo,
trousers.
which is a sword with elven ears coming out of it. They have their tongues cut out, so they haven't been able to tell us why they're there. But yeah, pretty dodgy. We're in a tower in Spetagaza, trying to head up to the top to get the big mighty book. We did finally get the big old mighty book, Stu, in the end, but it turns out it was pretty much on fire and falling apart. The only thing that Felix was able to discern was the metal front cover, which happened to say the Star Engine on it, which was a pretty big deal. We then got out, but we pretty much almost died because we were choking in this black smoke. Turn on turn on turn. Their main leader got away. Sildon's not so happy about that. He doesn't like to leave any loose ends. We've basically joined our party lying on the floor, exhausted, outside the main chamber that you remember, which is where you left us before. Black flames still pouring out of the big large door, and they're exhausted.
Thank you very much.
Marvellous.
I can do short.
I can see 7 bad guys.
Lined up, ready to go.
Our initiative tokens. Malcolm,
Yeah.
you return into this central chamber, still at the study of Cal, this large room, the 2 garden shrubberies split in the middle of them. And at the top of the stairs, you see the 5 party members, including Elanterix, who's there as well, just sprawled out, clearly exhausted, coughing, spluttering, trying to inhale and regain some form of composure. It looks like they've been through it. You return into the room.
Where have I been?
You tell me, Malcolm.
Where have you been, Malcolm?
There was a few bodies out there that you probably were.
Outside. I guess I was chasing down a couple of the would-be assassins, but
I would have stopped the one that got away.
no, I didn't see him, unfortunately.
Toilet break.
It's all been a bit hectic.
Is Lantrix still with us?
So you guys look like you've been through a lot.
I am exhausted. Absolutely
Is there
exhausted.
anything I can do?
Like a back massage, and then like maybe like 4 days, 4 days on a beach would do it. I think that would sort me out. Yeah, he's coughing. It's pretty smoky in there.
Is there anything left to help with, rescuing wise?
I think everyone has probably expired in there now.
Did you manage to
Everyone?
get anything of value out at Antrix?
No. Well, I got a load of scraps, bits and pieces, but you got the map.
There's a map.
Sylvan reluctantly hands it over to Martin.
It's got Martin.
These two entrances that are any way in and out, correct?
Yes.
There was another. We haven't seen him leave yet. You presume him dead, of course.
I don't know if I saw anyone else. I don't know.
Zolan definitely saw him.
Swine, run me through!
Zolan looks considerably the worst. He looks
On death's door.
on death's door, yeah.
I'm doing alright. It's alright.
Probably worth pointing out, Thorin is an ape.
Forgot about that.
Totally forgot about that. That's a good point.
That was worth pointing out, definitely.
That was a good one.
And you don't think twice about it. You just instantly know that's Thorin.
Well, if I see a random animal with the group, I immediately assume,
A
well, that's
slightly
Thorin there this
twiggy,
week.
leafy animal.
Yeah.
Let-
Have we got any further on why they were here?
The big old book is burned up. It's all ruined. I only saw the cover.
And that we assume was their reason for being here was just to destroy everything?
I assume they're unhappy with what the people here are doing in general, and wanted to make a statement.
Just to communicate some of the seriousness of this, if there is somebody still alive in there who saw us there, the Elven authorities believe us to be dead. Anyone that could prove that to the contrary is the only thing that's stopping the Justicrees tearing this place apart brick by brick and handing us over to Equa.
But from what I can gather, the situation in there would have been very difficult for anybody to identify anybody else.
True, but do you want to trust your life on it?
Possibly not. What's the situation in there? Is it still full of smoke and fire and...
Oh,
Felix turns to the doorway, that's billowing with black smoke. And he's like, well, I mean, if you want to go in, it's up to you.
As you look over to Atlantrix, she's visibly sobbing.
Yeah.
You've not seen her cry before, living with her for 2 years.
No.
This is yeah, she's really shaken up about this.
So anyway, I know what to do.
Sort of grabs your hand as you do that. Just looks down into her cape and her robes, and she's just shaking her head, welling up.
Selden seems to not even notice, to a point of it being rude, and will immediately start grabbing the trousers off one of the bandits, and then tracing the sigil that's tattooed, just with a piece of tracing paper.
Sure. So the dagger.
Yeah, it's like a dagger with two elf ears.
Two elf
so you just be
ears.
tracing it almost. Is it exactly the same on everyone, or is it variations?
No,
of
it's
something?
almost perfect replicas of one another. Obviously, there's some error in the tattooing, but yeah.
Do you recognise it?
I don't yet, but it's information, and plus, if we have these, who knows? It might come in handy. Should we need to? What do you know?
In Equa, they were a gang. Not very pleasant people to know,
Okay.
but the tongue cutting out thing is new to me.
You obviously didn't want word of what they were doing to get around.
But they've definitely come from Equa.
You say a gang criminal, is it?
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
State funded? Wouldn't put it past them.
I wouldn't be at all surprised. They were responsible for some pretty nasty stuff that was at least partially responsible for my patron helping me get the hell out of Dodge.
Interesting.
Because things were getting ugly.
So what relationship do you have with these people?
Oh,
You want a member, I hope.
No relationship at all. But I knew of them. I knew what they were capable of. But as I say, this level of organisation and this, as far as I was aware, they were just Equa. This is new to me, and certainly the that's not seen that before.
What are the usual motives? What are the modus operandi? Is it money, power, racial purity? What are they after?
You can feel free to give me a history roll.
That's a 17. Plus 2.
So the inclination that in some way they're propped up by the government rings true to you. You always suspected as much, but never had confirmation of that.
So the idea was that they were probably outwardly just a street gang, but like paid agitators in a riot. With that sort of, that's the sort of connection that I'd see off them, or I had the inclination of.
They seemed to focus. The thing that was very clear is they seemed to focus nearly all of their attention on human and other non-elven sectors of Equa, and the law enforcement would look the other way.
Not nice people.
I just think a gang like this walks freely through these lands. I would have thought they're pretty distinctive.
How did they get past the curtain?
Yeah, how do you think they got here?
You were let through.
Yeah, somebody must have just let them in.
Why would they let them in?
Well, we have to assume that the elven authorities promote this kind of action.
They were called you remember clearly, they were called the Blue Blades.
Thorinir,
Trousers.
do you think you could track the one that got away?
Assuming he's not dead.
Abe Thorinir can't speak.
Maybe like turn into a bird or something.
Just seeing if he's got any smell in his current form. He does not. I can definitely
Smells
bludgeon the crud out of him.
Sildon's trying not to be visibly shaken by the fact that you are an ape. But
And doing lots of stomping and smacking. But
I mean,
trying to stay brave. But
my dog nose is good, but it's not that good. I couldn't track him out across land.
Have we got any idea which direction he left?
That's what I mean. If we know that, then we can go.
if you have any connection with the state, we're in trouble.
We still don't know if he's left. Nobody's got past Malcolm. There's one in one way and one way out, and nobody's got past him.
Then hold on. Everyone be really quiet.
Is there anything else here, Landrix, that might be of value?
Can Felix investigate to see if he can hear anyone else here?
With his dog ears?
Yeah, if you
What
could,
are your dog
if
ears
you
saying?
make a perception roll.
Oh.
Sildon will definitely be backing you up if you want to do it.
Oh, what as an advantage?
How you gonna
So the best
back
one was
up somebody's
22.
hearing? Like lift his ears up first?
So as you're listening, you're sort of straining, but then a sound very close to you, from behind you, you're sort of sat facing away from these doors, maybe on the bottom step of this central chamber. From behind you, you hear the loud sound of something hitting the floor quite clearly, and as you turn around, it's very obviously another one of this gang. Doesn't seem to be that same silver-haired person with the face tattoo you saw before, but there seemed to be someone else in there, and they've collapsed in the smoke.
There's one of them still in there.
We missed him.
Well, we can ask him some questions.
He's still got a tongue.
As long as he's got hands, you can tell us things.
Knots here. So we don't need a tongue.
I think we should go in before he dies. Felix is going to dexterously run in to try and find this dude.
Okay, so he's just at the doorway, the top, the main
Yeah.
entrance doorway,
How convenient.
and he's sort of motionless on the floor.
I'll come up and give you a hand and drag him out.
I was going to go to my pack and get a medical kit out to try and stabilise him if it's possible. To
Okay.
keep him alive for now.
Yeah, if you'd like to make a medicine roll.
Hope you don't mind me trying to keep this guy alive.
For now.
You can have him later. We'll have to make a medicine roll. Oh, no, you guys are going to make a medicine roll.
Yeah,
Can I
we'll,
make- yeah,
we'll
and then-
aid. We'll aid.
Oh.
If you're making,
Oh, should we make a medicine roll together?
I don't know if it didn't get to
We'll
me.
just take the highest.
oh, sorry for the what are you using?
I was going to use a healer's kit. I've got a healer's kit in my bag to, if he's able to be stabilised, if he's not
yeah, you're
dead,
right. It is without a medicine
I
check.
can
Yeah, you're
I
right.
can expend
Oh,
it
cool.
and
You're right. Yeah.
do we need a medicine check to see if he's
No.
alive?
Let's
No.
just do it. Oh, I already didn't.
Where's my inventory? I've got a -1.
What does that look like?
Healer's
Thorne? This
kit
is
on
you
4
doing quite a
left.
big action.
Me?
What's
Oh,
it?
Zolan.
well, it's it's obviously a stethoscope, isn't it? It's an unknown technologies you haven't seen before. The diaphragm's probably rather large. Probably a little bit too large.
What did I say?
Thorny.
Thorny.
Oh. What does it look like, Thorny?
I'm just scratching his butt. Yeah, I'm just looking at the ape stats. They're all better than Thorin is.
Permanently, I think.
He's got so much charisma.
It's more.
As an
And also so much reach.
incredible.
Just be a stethoscope.
I imagine you just stethoscope and then you're just like, and then just give him a slap on the face. And that's
If it
all
was a
takes
serious
to do it.
operation, I'd have one of those headbands with the lard. But it's not at the moment. It's not.
Dr.
It's
Mario.
not, it's not a serious. It doesn't need that yet. To reflect some light in.
Oh,
Just check for a heartbeat.
cool.
And give him a paracetamol.
You don't find a heart.
Yeah.
It seems you're moments late.
What's that? He's gone.
Gone.
Damn it.
He's dead.
Checking for small change.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me an investigation roll.
Oh. It's got deep pockets.
Deep.
Whoa.
To another void.
That's a 7.
A 7. So you
Can't
obviously.
even find his pockets.
So yeah, obviously just the basic. The basics are in those scenarios. If he had things in his pockets or on his person, you'd just you'd find them.
Yeah.
The investigation roll was in case he was concealing anything or anything like that.
Okay.
But yeah, you don't find anything particularly of
So
use.
this isn't the one who attacked you.
Silver hair, the guy. Real mean looking fella, you'd know him straight away.
Checking for a tongue.
Does not have a tongue.
Freshly cut.
If you'd like to, you're welcome to give me a medicine check to try and identify that.
Don't know anything about medicine, but I'll give it a shot.
I'll do it.
I'll have a look. Oh, I won't. I'll do it as well.
No, I won't.
It's only an 11 on this end.
it's not there.
Certainly, there are some. Yeah, you couldn't tell if it was days or weeks, but it's not years. Yeah.
That's not years.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
Elk is so charismatic.
Tell you what I missed.
Hold breath.
What's the distance from here to Aqua in time?
Sildon been to Aqua?
Probably not. Maybe once, but never frequently.
Okay.
I have. I'd be able to tell.
Yeah, I mean, you could give if you
I feel
if you'd
it's
like
just
to
walked
give me an insight roll.
Can we have advantage because we've got a map?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Aqua's not on the map.
It's not scale.
there. Scale. It's not even accurate.
15. You suspect. How did you travel here in the first place? Did you walk or horseback? Not horseback. There's no horses. Did you
Maybe
ride
walk.
or did you? I think you walked.
I think I will. Yeah.
I think you walked.
I don't recall riding in
It was many days.
many days.
Many
Right.
days. Okay. So they had tongues and they left Aqua, presumably. Which means they discussed the plan on the way here and then decided they were going to cut the tongues out so nothing got out. Which means they know something that they didn't want us to know. And assumed they were going to die doing it, presumably.
So I'm just thinking, do you think these people would willingly... Are they this fanatical? That they'd have their tongues removed and knowingly still fight? That's
I
an
don't
extreme,
know.
or do you think there's...
I didn't know any of them personally. I didn't know them that well. Mostly by reputation and by some of the things that they did. But I suppose it's possible.
There's deep heinous magic that can control the mind.
What did you say?
Yeah.
There's deep heinous magic that can control the mind. Deep. Real deep.
Deep.
They, yeah, I
But
was
your P
just
against
going
the
to
H
say
too firmly
similar
there.
thing. They could have been controlled.
Alandrix, do you think there's anything of greater value than the star engine in this room? In this this wing of
The star
Spetagarza?
engine
It's what I said on the front of the book.
at the top of the
At the
tower.
top. Have you
Yes.
never read it?
No,
Oh.
I knew it was there. The Maru. We've heard the name before, but only she was to read it.
And there's no looking around. There's no indication of what direction this guy might have gone.
I don't know of any other guy.
Is that everything of value here? Do you think there's anything more valuable? Because if that's
That
it,
book was. I know the importance of it. The fact that it had its own room. The fact that it's lost. Whatever was in that book died with
They
Maru.
only had one copy, a book that important.
Yeah.
is the,
Hang on, wait, it died with the Maru was dead?
oh, the
That
Maru's
was her.
dead.
Presumably
Oh.
Oh, come on.
But correct me if I'm wrong, you saw an augur clutching the book, not one of these militants.
Yes. So
That
the
was
book,
her.
The book did not go with them.
That was the Maru.
So presumably she was there when all of this happened.
Yes.
Did you actually see the book burn?
Yes. All that was left was Star Engine.
If you can call it burning. It's something that I don't understand. I've seen houses burn before, this wasn't burning.
Yeah, I need to.
Is it possible it could have been an illusion? They've taken the book, taken the contents of the book.
Could you do like a perception to see if you could think back and see if it felt real?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not amazing. 14.
14. It felt, clearly it was not natural fire.
Yeah.
But it felt, it felt real.
Yeah, it happened. I'm not
I
going
just
back
can't
in.
understand. I mean, I can understand killing everybody who might have known what was in it, but to destroy it
Well, there's
instead
no
of
one.
taking it.
We don't
Yeah.
know they destroyed it. They weren't holding it when it disapparated.
This is what I mean. Did you actually see the pages burn?
Yes,
Right.
I very much did.
Alandrix has been in as well. You've seen it, haven't you? She went in after.
The book was in one piece. I poked the book fell apart, it disappeared in lots of bits.
But they weren't in possession of it at the time, which makes me think perhaps the Maru activated something, some foul magic that we were unaware of.
Oh, you think it was for protection? The black smoke?
Maybe it wasn't deliberate.
Hmm.
There are dark forces in this world. Why isn't this one of them?
This leaves us a little bit out on a limb,
Hmm.
because the most important person is dead, the most important thing is destroyed.
You look at Alantrix. She just sort of has like a little, looks like a little light bulb moment. She's like, the incident room. That's one more important room.
The incident room.
Sounds important.
And she points down the stairs. Fortunately, with a little sigh of relief,
Yeah.
she points down the stairs to the non-burning. Still it's filling more and more with smoke. It's starting to irritate your throat again. But she's pointing towards one of those right-hand side rooms as you came in.
Yeah.
That you were in previously. Whatever else is important is in there.
Let's go quick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's go quick.
Yeah.
The other guy might be here as well. Remember,
Heading down.
Silver.
Heading down flat out.
Okay.
But first of all, Felix will take his sword and he'll lean it down onto the ground, and a little pack filled with bits of paper and things that he got from the room that we got the map from will slide down the end of the sword and drop on the floor. And he'll be like, that's for you, Alantrix. There's probably some important things in there.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
The door to the main antechamber and the side door. Is there any way of barring them shut?
So the main door has almost been completely blown out because if you remember, there was that great big backdraft when
I remember that.
Zola. You
Yeah.
remember it?
I remember that. Yeah.
So the main, it would take, and there's still these black flames lapping at the entrance. There's big plumes of smoke.
What is
So-
actually burning in there to produce all this smoke?
Nothingness.
Oh, right.
Everything and nothing.
Seems
Okay.
to just be emanating from the walls.
Right.
But it can consume things. There were things on fire within the room, just it also emanated from everywhere. It was hard to really tell. Didn't burn in the conventional
chance.
sense.
Have I seen anything like this before? Probably wouldn't have given it much of a thought until now.
It's a little bit voidy, isn't
Again, if you give me, you don't know what it is. If you could just give me an intelligence check, generally.
13.
No.
No,
It's
just
really
can
foreign.
you not? Is there nothing magical you can do?
He thinks and sort of looks through it.
Dissipate the smoke so that we can investigate the room. And he's sort of shouting this over his shoulder as he's running towards, running downstairs towards the other room.
Yeah. She's thinking, no.
See if there's anything you can do. I'll be back in a minute.
So you're going down towards that middle room. She was sort of gesturing. There were 3 rooms, if you remember, on the right hand side. You're not completely sure which one she was gesturing towards. There was the pool in the top right, and then there was a small room just to the south of that. The larger room in the middle, if you remember, which had the big round table in it. You had the archer fighting with papers all over the place. And then there was a third door on that south side, on the right hand side of the room that you didn't go in.
Go away.
That's
Try
right.
that one.
I'm sticking with Big Daddy Thorin here, though,
Well,
for protection.
He's gonna reduce back down.
Oh.
Okay,
Feels a bit heavy right
Yeah.
now.
no problem. Is there any
Yeah,
side
heavy.
any sort of side effects to reducing back down?
Just scratchy.
Itching. Nice. Okay. So you're heading down to the southerly-most room on that right-hand side. Yeah, it looks smaller than the middle one is the big one that juts out, and then the other 2 look much smaller. Just from the externals. So as you head down the right side, Elantrix just sat on the stairs. She's not got anything in her at the moment. She looks so deflated and defeated. So you go down to the bottom right room. Again, it's that door that would slide if you were to open it, or you assume. It's that type of door.
I'll stand over to the side in case of anything that might come flying out at me, and sort of push the door open and peek in.
Sure thing. So as you go inside, there's no smoke in there. It doesn't seem to have got this far into the building, into the study. There's a few random shelves. Nothing immediately strikes you as interesting, apart from this wicker. There's this wicker basket sort of in the middle of the room, which there's a little bit of parchment that's labelled on this basket that you can read in Elvish, which says for immediate evaluation. It's the only thing that grabs your attention in any fashion in this room.
I shall open and deal with your basket.
Okay, so it's just an open. It's more like it's like a tray, almost like a wicker tray. I mean, inside these different scrolls and bits of parchment, and there's one on the top, which probably pretty quickly. It's kind of scrawled, handwritten notes here, and again, it's got another note on the top which says high priority again in Elvish. Are you reading further? There's quite a decent bit of text on there.
I'll just sort of
Skim it.
Yeah.
So generally, this report says.
You didn't flick through 5 pages, Giles. You've written the whole report. Oh, you're just going to skim it.
Just skim it. Yeah, right, just throw this. No, that's fine. That's fine. So it generally says. I haven't written it. Generally, it's describing fresh reports of blood being drained from livestock in the area.
Yeah. Some drained people at the
What's that?
entrance.
Oh.
What was that? Did I dream that?
I feel like that was
There
a
was a-
spooky night. That was a
There was a
mansion
blood
dream, that
trail at the entrance.
Yeah.
Jump.
Whether that was from drained people or
Was. That
not.
was Barnstable creeping in.
So yeah, that sort of grabs your attention. And if you look through the basket more. Most of the other elements in there seem more mundane, and they've got like low priority written on them and so forth. It just looks like this one's been marked as high priority, something of interest.
Nothing else in this room. I mean, I'll take the scrolls because but nothing else.
Give me an investigation roll if you want to have a look around.
Not great. That's 11. So 10.
10. Okay. So there's a number of other baskets, and they look like kind of in trays. And you maybe also it's like sort of an archivey area. Some of the bits look like they've been there for quite a while, and some of them look like they're slightly newer. And one of the in trays says from the incident room. Another one, and then many others sort of labelled as archived or older, clearly older reports that have been filed away. So it looks like a kind of archive room.
So this isn't the incident room.
Yeah, it is. Making the assumption that this room is filled with recent incidents contained about the world and reports about the world, Silden's going to have a scout through and see if he has anything to reference the Bastion burning.
Sure. So yeah, absolutely. There's quite a decent amount in here. So it's going to take you a little bit of time to investigate the room, but you can absolutely go through and have a look at those different trays and things. Yeah,
We'll take a look.
yeah, no problem. So I assume you're doing that in the background.
Specifically, if it's accounts that all of the people present are dead,
Sure. Yeah, no problem.
or if there's any reference to any of us at all.
Yeah.
This is a
no
very well organised room, alphabetical.
problem. No.
Damn. I want to start looking for things about the cowl.
Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah,
good choice.
absolutely. So
I don't know where to start.
yeah. So again, same kind of thing. If you
Yeah.
want to, if you want to be just sort of generally trawling through
Yeah.
these different bits and pieces.
I want to look a little bit closer as well, looking for hidden things.
Okay. So anything specific, like
Secrets.
Yes,
Secret passage.
yes, secret cupboards.
a book. Okay.
The usual sort of thing.
Mhm.
Little odd scrape markings along the floor, trails in the dust where something might have been moved.
So
Mass detect secret door.
So as you're specifically looking,
detective-y type stuff.
sure. As you're specifically looking for those types of things, I'll say that you realise behind kind of a shelf, the sort of looks like a sort of tipped shelf, whether it's fallen over in the ruckus or whatever. There is another door in this room on the south-west side that's just been sort of obscured by this shelf.
I shall move the shelf out of the way.
It's easy to do so, everything's fallen off it, so it's relatively lightweight and flimsy. And as you... and then there's another door, so this is a more traditional door, it's not one of these big mechanical ones, it looks just like a simple wooden door with a handle. You're going to open it?
Grasp the handle and open the door.
No problem. So the two of you are doing that. Just whilst using that, what are you two doing? Felix and Thorinir
Just rummaging.
in the same room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good rummage.
I do like a good rummage.
I think Felix, he's pretty exhausted. He's almost choked to death in the flames, and he's also taken a fair bit of damage in combat as well. He's probably going to head back up to Elantrix and sit with her.
As you walk over towards her, she says, "The room next to it's the incident room."
They'll work it out. They're smart ones. They're smart ones. Is there anything I can do for you? This has been a bad day for you.
Felix, I appreciate that. I'll be honest, I didn't like you very much, and I didn't trust you when I met you at Wick. I believe your story. I'm interested to understand who set you free and why. I appreciate you looking after Zolan. He needs it.
He does, yeah. He really does. He doesn't help himself at all, really.
He's foolhardy, headstrong.
He's hard-headed, and a moron is what he is.
There's a number of words we could use for him, but I appreciate you looking out for him.
Yeah, it's a difficult quest. And he's going to put his sword down on the steps and sit on his sword, kind of, frame himself next to her. Not look at her directly, but talk to her side on. And try and comforter.
We really believe these people are our chance of saving the world, you know. Asher.
Does that disappoint you a little bit?
Sometimes.
Yes, because, you know, when I had stories explained to me when I was a pup, heroes were always big and strong, and they had lots of armor, and they were mighty, and they were handsome, and dashing, and charismatic, and this is like just a rough band of nobodies.
Maybe, but they killed Void.
Yeah, don't really know what that means, but sure, it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah. In there, and she points behind her, back into the burning room. They were ridden about, all in the central chamber at the bottom of the tower.
They were written about.
Pictures of them all around the room.
Who made these pictures?
Pictures that how we believe them to be, and how we'd heard of them. There were many stories coming from the human world.
Oh, this is hearsay, not premonitions or.
Yeah, we were trying to find them.
Just imagining muscly portraits.
People,
Particularly Zola.
Yeah.
the augurs believe in these people, just like the people at the Bastion.
Well, you know what? You might be wrong. They might not be the mighty heroes that you think they are, but sometimes when I was in the arena and I was feeling like a little pup and not like my Felix that you see before you, I would walk out feeling nervous, and the crowd would chant my name, Felix, Felix, Felix. And before, I wasn't a hero, but then I was a hero. And maybe you get them thinking them are heroes. Maybe that makes them heroes. Maybe they're gonna do what you want them to do because you willed it.
I don't think they'll ever do what I want them to do. But
Maybe.
I hope they find their own path.
Maybe they'll do what you need them to do. And he'll put a little paw. Wow.
Thank you. Thorny, you're looking around the same room as them,
I'm
or
inspecting the paper quality. What am I finding?
paper quality? It's a reasonable paper quality. Better than that rubbish you saw in the human world, in the human lands.
So I appreciate that they obviously care about this text.
Mm.
Yeah. Does anything jut out as like, oh, I've heard someone say that word?
Again, in this same room that these guys are in, so I would say between the group of you, you'll keep searching. I'll come back on to Malcolm, and then we'll come back to the three of you. So you open this door. It's a little bit stiff, but it does turn and it does open. And as you walk through, you see what appears to be a storeroom filled with mops and cleaning apparatus.
Oh, great. Good mop.
He's checking his notes as well.
Nevertheless, I shall investigate.
No problem. Yeah. Again, give me an investigation roll.
Yeah, a little bit better, 14.
14. There, as well as the mops and cleaning apparatus, there are a couple of water skins in there. There's a broom. There's also there are some reels of parchment, and what seem to be blank scrolls as well. So this looks to be some kind of a paper storeroom. Yeah. / cleaning cupboard.
Right.
Incident room.
Okay.
So you guys are searching and searching. After
You might still be.
you're looking for something to do with the cow. You're looking to do with the keywords. You're looking to do something to do with the bastion. Well, the first thing.
Cleaning up the incident.
Yes.
You've had an incident.
Certainly had an incident or two. Did we ever find out where that blood trail went, by the way? Was it just to the
Pond?
Was it the one in the pond?
There was a body that it went to.
It went deeper into the body.
In one of the side rooms, because there was
Ah,
like
that's
these
right,
like sign-in rooms,
Yeah.
like to the left and right, halfway up the stairs.
Is there where you sat?
No, we're sat in the main chamber.
There's a note which seems
No,
just
we're not.
slightly separate to all the other in trays, an archive, wicker baskets that are there. There's just it's a slightly different style to everything else that's there. It's not quite a book, but it's presented as sort of bound together pages. So there's clearly a little bit more effort that's gone into it. And on the front, in Elvish, it says the Sacred Cowl.
Sorry, I was reading about a potion of boldness. I heard something about a sacred cow, so I find a sacred cow. I apologise.
No, it's fine. It's fine. You discover a little like bound pamphlet. It's not a big novel. It's just a little pamphlet that says this Sacred Cowl. You can fairly quickly skim down it if
Please,
you would like.
can, yes.
Before you do, was that BALD?
No, bold. B-O-L-D. No.
We drank the potion on my hair fell out.
It looks like a description, maybe at least from the August perspective, of what the cowl is.
I take a note.
It says, the 4 chimes are warnings that the legend is coming true once more. The end of Asher. The augurs must be teachers, desperate for help before it's too late. Complete destruction was prevented once. Now it must be stopped again. The cowl was created by 4 great kingdoms: the Osai, the Elf, the Dwarf, the Horned Elf. The statues in the study are to look like these rulers. The cowl is a mysterious device which will save Asher. There's other little bits of text in and around it that just go into a little bit more specific meandering in those areas, but that's the main opening statement that's on this.
No bigger clue into what the cowl might be or anything.
Not there.
Okay.
Great. After so you were looking for similar keywords. That was a keyword you spied. Nothing on the bastion in this room that you can see, Sildon. Just one other thing that draws your attention, Thorinir, as you're looking sort of more broadly. There is in one of the archive trays, there's one which is sort of titled, this is a scroll, Construction of the Great Knell. Again, this is in Elvish. Most of the text in here is Elvish, but not all of it. If you recall, Elantric said that they brought text from all across Asher. So some of it is in Human, Common. Some of it is in Gnomish. And there's a few texts that possibly some of you aren't quite sure of as well, as you're looking around. The construction of the Great Knell.
You like this, Zola?
What have
Can
you found?
you read Elvish?
Sure can. Elantric's taught me over the last couple of years when you guys were sleeping. Wham! Scan it.
So it'll take a minute to get a good flavour for it. You can't read every last word in that time, but you can certainly get a
I've just shown
feeling.
the title. This is how they did it.
Oh,
The key part of this, there's a lot of very boring parts of it about specific.
well, you think they're boring.
Sure,
I
yeah.
certainly do not think they're boring.
There's a lot of administrative
Yeah.
text that explains things. The
Supply chain
main
issues.
the main theme of this scroll, as you read down, describes how an unnamed source from the Osai helped fund the construction of the Knell.
Interesting.
This was talked of, and there's a clear writing over the top of it here at some point in time in a slightly different ink, which says confidential.
Redacted.
This is to be kept sealed. This is to be sealed information, and very clearly about that sort of that area and that point. And it says gnomes, elves, and humans joined together to just construct it. So that bit doesn't seem to be as redacted, as it were. But yeah, specifically that point about the Osai and the construction of the Nell was to be, kept secret.
Do we have a date on the now? Is there anything in there about actually when this was constructed?
No, certainly not within here. In fact, the one thing very few of you will note is that dates aren't really a thing used very much, full stop, in Asher. It's not quite in the same way you would always put dates across, like we do in real life in your diary entries. Months aren't really named quite in the same way that they would be in this world, and you don't have 30 days in a month and Monday to Sunday. All that, it is just really in Asher is gold spell and grey spell, which is in effect your colder, darker seasons and your brighter, sunnier seasons. And that's about as specific as anyone ever gets with dates. But they will say things like in 5-10 day ago, and things like that.
It's all kind of relative.
Yeah, but basically people are hopeless at log. There's no one true history of the world.
Is that deliberate? Suppression of information.
On the plus side, we know where the Orsai are relative to where we are now. At least in a vague sort of sense.
Is that anywhere near the Gnomish lands?
Opposite side of the map.
Oh.
But equally, if the gnomes are involved as well, we have to go through Shade Cap. But anything that gets us out of here as quickly as possible, I'm more than happy to help you.
Are there any other rooms we haven't investigated? Anywhere else that
Probably the key one.
Yeah.
I can think of one.
I'm going to pop out and say, I think we found everything in the incident room.
No, Tonya, it's the wrong one. It's the one next to it.
Good avoiding metagaming there, Thorne. Yeah.
That's the incident room.
Oh well.
But there's loads of great stuff in this room.
You were right.
What is this room, Elantrix?
It's the archive.
Oh, cool.
General paper room. We found your cleaning cupboard though. Didn't hide that very well.
Was it ransacked? Is there anything recoverable?
In the cleaning room,
Yes.
it's all recoverable.
Yeah, the box is just fine.
Thank goodness. They're going to need that.
There isn't any rope in the cleaning room by any chance.
There's not any rope in
There's no rope in the vague vicinity.
I have some rope. Do you need some rope?
Absolutely.
Yes, I can give you some rope. How many? I'll give you 50 feet of rope if you want.
That'd be perfect.
You still don't eat rope.
Handing it over.
I feel like this
Right.
isn't the first time you've asked for rope.
I used my rope earlier, and
Oh.
it's very important.
Always need to know where your rope is.
Always know where your rope is. If you have your rope, people assume you have everything else.
So Thornir heading into that middle room. Yeah, that was the room that you moonbeamed the door on. All that time
Oh, yeah.
previously.
The radiant room.
Yeah.
He's been drawn to it from the start.
Giving you my
Yeah.
rope.
While this is going on, Felix will turn to Elantrix and be like, I'm going to just look away, or just don't mind me. And he's going to take his little neckerchief off, and it's clearly got like things in it. He carries stuff in it, and he's going to put it down next to his sword. And he's just going to lick his little paw hands and just start cleaning himself. Don't worry about it. This is a thing I do, don't worry. Look away. Look away. Oh, it feels good. And he's kind of slicking his hair, in all directions.
So you head into that central room. Yeah. Is anyone following Thornir?
I'll go.
So yeah.
So I'll nervously
Yes.
look back to the door as we leave, fully expecting a silver-haired man to dart out at any moment. But
Yeah.
Imagine he's long gone by now.
He doesn't dart out. So back into that central room with they were trying to barricade the door. If you recall, there's furniture strewn around, papers literally everywhere, all over this room, all over the tables. Probably someone dead. I can't quite remember where they all expired. Yeah, I think someone
Stabbed through the table. Maybe.
someone might not have made it out. Oh yeah, by the door, because you
Yeah.
moonbeamed them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moonbeam.
Shadow on the floor somewhere.
So yeah, in this room, I mean, there's paper all over the place. Literally, there's no order to it. It's just strewn absolutely everywhere, all over the floor, all over the table, just pinned up to the walls. It surrounds the entire room.
It's like the end of Crystal Maze.
Yeah.
Get the gold tickets.
You do the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Explore.
Any other secretly hidden, cupboardy type spaces?
Again, so that you can look around. If you give me investigation on this one, because there's nothing obvious.
7.
Yeah, nothing grabs your attention anywhere in this room in regards to hidden doors or similar.
Is this room better organised?
No, it's hickled, the most
Of
hickledy
course,
pickledy.
yeah,
Yeah,
we've got a
everything.
battle in there. Well, I didn't have a battle in
Yeah,
there.
extremely strewn and disorganised.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm
now
afraid.
it's about time I had a pipe. I will attempt to light my pipe. Can I have
So,
a minute to light
I'll
my
take
pipe,
roughly 1
please?
minute.
Yes. Thank you very much.
No problem. So looking around through this, what you believe to be called the incident room.
Investigating. You need a pipe, don't you?
So yeah, there's all kinds of things, and this looks. Whereas the other one was clearly more of an archive, apart from that one wicker basket that you found there. This room seems to clearly contain present things being evaluated, whereas some of the stuff in the archive looks to have been turned into more reports.
Yeah.
This is just notes, like scrawlings, things that have been clustered together on the wall that are related, and then all this stuff thrown all over the floor, and then some blood and explosions somewhere in the midst of it all. So as you investigate, I'm assuming you can do similar things, spend some time working through all of this as much best as you're able to. It's not a quick thing, you're not going to be able to do this in a couple of minutes, but unless you tell me otherwise, I'll assume you're just searching throughout.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are actually more bodies. There's a few more. There's about 2 or 3 augurs dead in here as well. Look to have come to stabby ends.
Without being quite deceptive and not letting Elantric see him, he is going to check all of those bodies.
Go ahead, yeah. So that they've all got their white robes on. They've all got a blood stain somewhere. It looks to be through the heart each time.
It's pretty accurate then. It's like professional.
Possibly, yeah. And you can give me an investigation roll again. I'll take 1 roll for the 3 of them.
It's updating my rope. 1 roll.
Updating his rope.
Updating my rope. Let's see if we're any better. A natural 20.
Whoa!
I can see everything.
Ray vision.
So
It's a good roll to find nothing.
one of them has a
Dark
key.
past.
One of them has a key in their pocket,
Ooh.
and it looks it looks like one of the crank keys.
Ah, marvellous. Are they generic or are they
Scottish
specific?
woman in a school uniform.
Crank. I don't know that joke.
What?
Crank.
Is that a reference to
Crankies.
the Crankies? Yeah.
I got it. Yes. Very good. Very good. You're not sure. You're not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, one of them had a key.
Doesn't know.
I'll pocket it for now, but make an obvious look around to see if there's a key, one of these crank keyholes in the near vicinity.
Yeah, you can't see one in this room.
Okay. I assume I'm looking for it as we go along, so if
No
it is
problem.
nearby, he'll be obviously looking for...
Do you want to just give me an active perception roll?
Sure, yeah,
And if
give
it's
that a go.
higher than your passive, I'll take it as your. I'll take your passive unless this improves it as you're actively looking for it.
No, I think that one was an 8, and our passive is... something else.
'Cause I feel like your passive should never get lower than.
No,
like your
passive-
active should never get lower than your passive.
Yeah.
Passive
Yeah.
perception's 13.
Okay, fine. So we'll take 13 then.
I like
just- Okay, so definitely some of the things on the walls draw your attention. There is Gnomish, which can you read Gnomish?
Probably not. Silden's pretty dumb.
Yeah. So there's Gnomish on the wall, so it's likely you that's going to spot this Zolan almost straight away. You know, as you're looking around.
The mother tongue.
Obviously jumps out at you because you might not have seen anything written in Gnomish for a little while.
Probably for a long time. Apart from, well, I was saying that when we was at not Wick. What was the town beyond Wick? And we had the Destructobot 6000.
Oh, we can speak.
5,000.
Sure. Yeah.
There was some gnomish crates, but nonetheless.
Yeah, you can speak and read Gnomish.
Okay.
Blimey.
Yeah. So you probably anyone that can see Gnomish, and you see Zolan sort of drawn to it, walking over to it. Load of notes. You have to piece this together. It's not just one thing. You've got to read all the bits and pieces. But there seem to be a lot of corroborating stories from varying different places. Some of them written in first person, as if the augurs themselves might have written it. Some of them seem to be almost like interview notes from third party accounts, observations, and all different things. There are reports of a pox at the resplendent and splendacious Academy of Salvation through the Elven Gate to the northeast. It seems that an augur had returned from a trip there, as the augurs are sort of doing around Asher, as you understand, and was not allowed back into Spetakarza in fear of spreading whatever they might have had coming from that area. The other thing that draws attention and that wasn't all written in Gnomish, to be clear. Some of that was Elvish and Common, all sorts of languages. The other thing, after a period of time, that sort of draws your attention, there do seem to be some corroborating bits and pieces that back up the blood draining of livestock. There's certainly some more notes that corroborate that story. In the nearby area, sort of just in some surrounding villages around Spetakarza, actually not that far away. And there's also something that grabs your attention, Thorinir, after a period of time. You recognise a couple of place names and little bits and pieces, a few references. There are reports of a variety of quite strong adjectives: mesmeric, fantastical, unimaginable creatures emerging from out of the Wood Elf forest to the southwest, including monsters that you couldn't even see. Reports of invisible monsters. Now you have had some familiarity with sort of some strange mystical beasts and similar, but as far as you were aware, they weren't prevalent. It wasn't like they're everywhere every day. You just had seen and heard new stories of people seeing things in the forests, but they always very much stayed within those forests, as everyone understood. Certainly from everyone else's perspective, you've never heard of such a crazy thing in Asher.
Well, definitely areas of the forest that we didn't go into, we weren't supposed to go into, unrelated or not.
These things about the blood draining, is there any indication as to whether it was ritualized or savage or anything like that?
Natural.
I mean, were these animals carefully cut and the blood drained out of them, or did they have their heads ripped off and it was all sucked out like a McDonald's straw?
The one sentence just sticks with you, even if you think back to it as you maybe later down the line when you think back at this moment. Left lying like a sock.
Oh.
What's a sock? A Thorinir asked.
A sort of inner shoe.
Yes. You know the hyena sleeves? Imagine a hyena sleeve on your foot.
He did try them in Wick.
Did you?
Yeah,
That's
well,
true.
Call back to episode 2 in this.
Wow.
So no sign of it being a sort of ritualized.
It doesn't. It seems to be in different areas. There's just a lot of. They haven't in the notes. They haven't at any point said something like, "Oh, this reminds me of the other one over at such and such a village." These are all just separate pieces of information, about finding strange, livestock drained and
Livestock.
left,
And
with their blood drained.
Each of them, the blood isn't like present. It's not like it's been drained there and then, like you say, ritualized. It's just gone, been had by a thing.
Perhaps not completely clear. There's a
Okay.
little bit of it is open to interpretation, and some of the note taking isn't fantastic. But the pattern seems to be that whatever these beasts might be, and they tend to be some fairly large beasts most of the times. They seem to be, we're not talking squirrels. We're talking some more sizable
I don't
creatures.
want to go there.
They are, they've been left bloodless, pale, shriveled. These are the types of words that are being used,
So it's
and
not-
without blood.
So, and it's not a case that the blood is, it's not in there anymore because it's all over here. It's just gone.
Not completely clear from the note, from the notes, but the main thing is that there's a few references to them being without blood.
Okay.
And 2 little.
No other
Could-
reference.
Can Zola make his way back to the previous room? We'd have some thoughts, and he'd like to go to the archives just to look for some things. And specifically, you'd like to look for information on Dathkar Crag around the time that we were there, and the Void Caves. That's something that he specifically had no. He felt like he was on another dimension. I would like to see if there's actually any texts about the events of what happened when we were supposedly there.
Yeah,
I'd also like to confirm how much hyperbole we're dealing with.
sure. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because everybody seems to know that what we did,
yeah.
and yet we were the only people there. So how could there have been?
That Void Cave was weird.
So you'll spend a bit of time in that room
Yeah.
looking specifically for things about that.
Specifically, yeah.
You should think it would be a fairly easy thing to find, given
Yeah.
the magnitude of the of what it was, and from the way Atlantrix
Yeah.
described it to you. After a few minutes of searching, you can't find any reference to that.
Okay.
Any reference to Benji and
Darak. Oh, the
Darak.
Dragoons. That's an interesting one, actually. Yeah.
There's
Look for some history on the Dragoons, if there's anything.
Okay.
The last of the Dragoons. He was a
Okay.
mighty warrior. He was.
No, there is nothing.
Okay.
I say the other thing that as you're searching through, trying to find patterns in these notes
Yeah.
and trying to understand, it looks like everything here is quite modern. Like
Yeah.
there's, you might expect some more, some stories of old, but the
Yeah.
vast majority of everything in this archive room seems to be a somewhat recent archive.
Okay.
It's like perhaps things get cycled out after a period of time or
Yeah.
something like that. So there's nothing that goes too far back, but yeah, there's certainly nothing that talks about
Okay.
anything that happened in the human region, Benji Darak, anything like that.
Cool. Happy.
So after a little time, Atlantrix sort of walks over, sort of gathered herself a little bit more. She's clearly wiped away tears and things. All right, what did you do?
What did we do, or what do we do?
What do you do?
I don't get the question on Lantrix.
Do you guys spread the information of what you've looked at to these two?
Yeah.
To Felix and Alantrix?
Oh, no point keeping any secrets.
Well,
So what do we do? Where do we go from here?
you have a few options, I think. I think you really need to ask yourselves what your objective is. I'm an outsider here. I came in to see a 1,000 Mile Bell. There was a 1,000 Mile Bell. I mean, that means this is pretty serious. There's also a bunch of dead guys. That's just well as well. The pox to the northeast sounds bad. The animals with no blood, that sounds pretty bad. You should probably find out what these things are. The things from the forest. Looking at the map, the forest is to the southwest. Is that correct? Southwest. And we have come northwest from where we were. That means the forest is the same direction as Derek and Benji were going. And we know that is a potential issue. You've told me of them. So that might be a good way to go. I don't know.
They better not be heading to the forest.
What else weren't mentioned in the formation of the cowl? No, elves were mentioned, but it wasn't specific.
But the other option is this Osai. If there is an unnamed Osai that is funding the Nell, then they could be friends of ours. So we could go to the Osai.
Helpful if we
We're
knew
talking-
where we are.
Badua was Osai,
Yes, that's right.
and Osai were the Wood Elf neighbours.
You knew them to be to the west of the Wood Elf Forest.
I don't think we ever.
You would rarely cross paths. There tended to be, this more magical area that separated the two of you.
Are the Osai as ancient as the elves? They're a really ancient race, or are they?
Are you asking anyone? Are you thinking?
I guess I could be thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to give me a
I
history roll.
I could also ask for anybody who has any information. It is when this thing works. Do a face instead. Yoink. It's an 18.
So you're not really taught much about the history of races at any point in your studies. You were a bit more focused on alchemy and similar.
True.
They're certainly
professions.
they're not new. There's nothing. However old they are,
Yeah.
the Osai have been around as long as they're spoken of in the same sentences that any other race would be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. When I was talking to Elantrix about this while everybody was sleeping, but from the teachings of the four elder races of the elves, the Osai, the dwarves, and the horned elves, that didn't correlate with what we'd seen in the void caves. In the void caves, they'd had statues just like these that I'd point in the room. We got these four statues. We're in the corridor with the four statues.
Canvas, yeah.
Yeah, in the void cave, we come across statues, and the races didn't match. There was an Osai, there was a dwarf there was an elf there. I don't believe there was a horned elf. Can you remind me, Jack, of the of what we seen
In the void cave.
in the void cave? Yeah, there's specifically those four statues that kept giving us premonitions of of the future. I'm pretty sure, because I remember me and Elantrix spoke about this. I think we.
And now for a short break.
That's fine. I still have season 1.
I believe we spoke about this and there being a difference. So Zolan's a bit confused because he doesn't. What I get told and what I've seen don't quite match.
Are the reference of the statues here to the gods?
Yeah.
Do we know that?
Who are they? I don't know.
These are to the people that will save
Oh yeah.
everyone, potentially from the gods, right?
So I can tell you the
Meta Josh.
yeah, I can tell you the four misty statues, if you recall.
Yeah.
That's right, because he wasn't there.
Doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Paint us a picture. So,
What of the place?
yeah, with words, not.
Of
Oh,
paintings. Better get my acrylics out.
Is it still fleshy at this point, or we got out the fleshy place?
No, I think it's flashy everywhere. It was horrible. Just a giant butthole.
It was flashy
All the
actually.
way. I took a chunk of rock home. It's in the bag of holding. Just too scared to look at it. It's been 2 years. Ah!
So you had
Just out the
Got a little
It's
map.
growing.
the four statues at the end in
Yeah.
the final chamber.
Yeah.
If you recall, which you eventually hung your satchel on.
Yeah.
One of which was a laughing lady, human, who was stood next to a dwarf. There was an Osai there,
Mm.
and a tall elven noble.
No horned elves.
Mm.
I've heard of the horned elf. How do they come up with these horned elves? Weird. Cool, thank you, Jake. I forgot why I asked you to do that.
Because the two sets of statues depict different things.
Oh yeah. That's something that it's been confusing me slightly.
Are you speaking this out loud to everybody?
I'd probably be mumbling. I'd hope that Landrix would pick up on what I was thinking, because we have spoke about this over the days of washing butts and doing laundry. What should help me clean and stuff.
What we found is
You must have missed a few days when I woke up.
You awake for a couple of days before everybody else. Just tied yourself to a chair.
we're always open to corrections and amendments, Zolan. What we found in the text are fairly clear. There's a lot of references to the horned elves being there, but
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, we've corrected things before. This is a piecemeal history.
When do you think Spetakar? When were Spetakars made? When were the augurs created, and why were they created? Were you created for the very first cataclysm, to save the world and spread the word, or was you created after
So
this?
the augurs existed before I joined them and before Maru White joined them from Wick. But they weren't prevalent. They were a small group then. Some people say that their parents were augurs before them, and their parents before that augurs as well. But I don't think we were anything like as established as we are now. There's nothing of the size and scale that our group has now. Spedakarza, I think, is a more recent addition.
Okay.
Some of these buildings, though, were here, is my understanding, beforehand. This building itself, the study, was newer, but
Yeah.
the Star Servitory was here before, I believe, before the bell.
What do you know about the Osai? Because some information that Thorinir found in there had stated that the Osai may well have funded this building. Why are the Osai so connected with the augurs?
I'd never heard that.
It's in a text, which we can probably go and find and show you if you want. It's been written in confidential and some of the sentence removed, but it clearly states that the Osai were trading goods to fund the Great Nell, the Nell.
Wow.
You have any idea why they would do that?
I learn something new every day in this world. No. We must have had supporters there.
Must have.
Sylvia's going to check if she's lying.
Sure.
Inside check?
Yeah, absolutely.
I always forget about an insight check. I like an insight
Yeah,
check.
it's only a 6 there.
So she's not sure.
This Star Servitory, Star Engine, Star Servitory, Star Engine, Star Servitory. Are they interconnected, do you think?
Not that I'm aware of. There is. Well, it's a really amazing place.
I
It's
think we should
open.
check it out. Yeah, I think we should check it out before we go. You're looking at Felix, and you notice that it's all of his, instead of that usual dense, like fluffy hair that he's got, it's all slicked down like someone's just come out of the shower, and it looks quite neat, but it looks weird. Like, yeah, he definitely looks very different.
Suddenly looks scrawny,
Yeah.
weak and
Except from
powerless.
his little round tummy.
His little round tongue.
Yeah. We should check it out before we go. But I think most importantly, if the lot of you can't work out where we're going to go, then we should lean on Elantrix. We've come here as part of your mission and to support. Where do you think we should go next?
Did you get anything from the instant ring? That's the reason that I came here, to learn what new news has been found.
I think there's only one direction as far as I'm concerned. The Wood Elves, present company excluded of course, had nothing to do with the cow. I'm not going anywhere near a pox for sure, because I'd quite like to keep my life. The Orsai had some hand in the cow, some hand in the building of the Neld. Seems like the next logical step.
What about the blood draining from the animals?
Seems like a rumour to me.
Have you witnessed this?
Blood draining.
I worry about the safety of these people. I worry about the safety of the people to the south from the elves, and I worry about the safety of these people here from who appears to be evil creatures. I don't really want to leave a wake of not helping people.
The world's a dangerous place. People get their blood drained every day. Sometimes have something to do with it.
Is there a postal system where we can send a message? I think Jamie and the HLF need to know. They can do something.
Not a bad idea.
I can probably get a message back to Wick if you'd like. Or the... where are they? Willem.
Willem. I know we have the V.
Yeah, in Willem, there's probably going to be like a crater there that they've been creating.
I could send one of... And she stops and thinks and looks back in there and just looks down.
I think that's a good
Okay.
idea. Get a message to them if we can. But we can't protect everybody. I mean, the best way to protect as many people as possible is to find out what's going on and try and stop whatever is causing all of this, rather than trying to react to everything all the time.
Get one step ahead.
Then I suggest we find more of these augurs around here and we see what they can do to help. Someone's going to have to let them know that a ton of them have died.
And as you say that, I just do this another weep.
Subtle.
I'll only say how it is.
What time of day is it?
Great question.
Sure, we entered around
hard to
midday.
tell
didn't
them.
we?
It was, yeah. It's
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
it's still early afternoon. I mean, not that much time has passed. We're in D&D, remember? Probably, yeah. It's early afternoon.
Okay. I'm just wondering whether some of us will survive the trip.
Death is a blessing to some.
I know that lesson well.
We will need to rest at some point, yes. Even though
Definitely need to rest up before we go anywhere. But is there? I mean, this silver-haired character that attacked you, he can't have just vanished into thin air.
Why not?
I
One of our party was an ape not too long ago.
Scratches.
I liked you.
Well,
I liked you like
he
that.
has to have got in here. He has to be able to get back out. There's quite a few people around.
By the time we find, if we were to waste time finding him, it just gains a lead on us. We have to assume that we're compromised and get out of here as soon as possible. Otherwise, we're all in a chained box to Ekra.
You're a bundle of laughs. You know that.
What can I say?
Okay.
If you know what he smells like, I can send the wolves.
Send the wolf.
But they need to know what he smells like.
Don't know if I can help you there.
You can
Yeah,
steal his
there it
pants.
is.
Did not. I tried.
I cut him there, didn't I?
You can.
I did stab him.
Yeah? Did
In
you?
theory, I've got a sample of his blood on my blade. I don't think I wiped it off since then.
A trail,
Did you-
drippy trail to follow.
Yeah, forget. Did you recall if you hit him?
Yeah,
Michael?
I'm
You
pretty
did.
sure
Yeah.
I did.
So there's got to be a blood trail.
This could be good. The wolves are more dog than I am.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, because I can't remember. I'm not sure if I can look at the history of my D&D Beyond, but I can probably take a look.
I mean, you're welcome to make a survival roll and see if there's anything you can detect.
Give it a go. It's not mine.
You know, this guy is probably going to be about our best bet for information in
Sure.
immediacy.
So I suppose survival check of 10, just to see if I have anything on my blade that would be usable for wolves to sniff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a waste of time. I think we need to get out of here as soon as possible. What's done is done. We couldn't catch him in the moment. He's gone. Okay. If he hasn't come out of those doors, he's either dead or he's found another way out. We have to assume he's found a way out.
Star Servitory? Star Servitory? Anyone?
I'm sorry, Elandrix. Who's the next senior? Who is the now the Marus died? Who is the other most senior person that might actually guide us? Because I ain't come all this way, been stabbed 3 times upstairs, just to aimlessly walk around the lands. Just do it like I would need a direction. Felix made a good point. Who's the next most senior person that may have read some texts?
I don't even know if they're alive. You saw how many people.
There's more than one building, isn't there?
Yeah.
Guys must do shifts.
The Marus, the only structure we have is the Maru,
That is a ridiculous thing.
and then
I'm sorry, that is absolutely ridiculous.
Oh,
Such information
No
kept by
hierarchy.
one person, that is
I thought I was heartless.
ridiculous.
Talk about kicking a woman while she's down.
It's alright.
if there's
Give
anyone
and take
else
it.
that knows it, it'll be the other Marus.
Oh, bastard.
Mara
Like,
White.
oh, I'm not going not Mara White. She's terrifying.
I don't believe she knows it, but you never. Yeah, if there's anyone that does, it is one of the others.
How
Is
do you
there one of your... I can't remember what they're called. These
toxins, you think?
toxins? Is there a toxin towards the outside or on the way?
Towards the Osai. There's
Could we get a list of toxins? That would be useful.
the smaller ones set up throughout Asher. The Spetakars is the main one, and then Wick to the south. There's one out east towards the dwarves and the gnomes. There's one from within Equa itself. And then maybe 1 or 2 other smaller ones scattered around. The smaller outposts that are unofficial everywhere as well. Smaller bases where a few augurs, just a small number of them operate, which aren't as official as such. But all it means is a place for us to. It's a place where many of us are gathered. That's all it is.
So hard to choose a direction.
I think we should investigate further here. We should see this Star Servitory. This star engine was clearly very important to these people. And if there's any connection, then it's useful.
There is so much history lost in there.
I would like to introduce you into a practice called transcribing to
I cannot
prevent this happening.
I
I am.
cannot believe that something that important. There was only
Yeah,
one.
I am completely shocked as well. I think it's almost on the borderline of stupidity. I'm sorry, Landrix, this has happened, but it really is bloody stupid.
Have you read many magical texts? Well, a lot of them are fairly dangerous affairs. It could be that even holding it wasn't particularly a safe occupation.
If only one person read it, maybe only one person could read it.
Absolutely. We don't know anything about this thing. There are many relics in the world, none of them that should be
And now,
tampered with without due
by the
cause.
sounds of it, we never will.
If there's one thing Elantrix is not, she's not stupid.
No, I wasn't suggesting that Atlantics was stupid, but some of the policies
I mean,
around here, it's just
yeah, it seems to be like we're getting spun around on our fishing pole because Atlantrix has been told by somebody who's read a book, whose superior's read another book, who's been told by that person who's read a book, and nobody has any
Well, we're
idea.
running
Nobody's
around
got
in
any information. We're just running
in the
around.
dark, just reacting to stuff.
Okay, well, it wasn't Elantrix's fault that it got all burnt down
It
and everyone
wasn't.
got murdered.
I'm
I
not
think
su-
you're working with
I'm
as
not su-
Captain Hindsight's here.
I
You're
know.
being
I'm
rude.
not
Our
suggesting
friends have
that
just
it
died. You're
was
being rude. Your
her
friends have just
fault.
died. Why were you going to do
I
this?
just nearly died.
Yeah,
And we're chasing stuff that we don't even know what we're talking about.
We need direction. We need a plan.
Star Servitory.
Star Servitory. Okay.
No, I've changed my mind. Of course, I'm going to Star Servitory. It's going to
So,
pick up his sword.
Maybe you're right. Before I thought we could do this, I thought if we gathered enough information from all across the lands and pieced it all together, we could get there, we could unravel what the cowl is and what the Great Divide was and everything else. But now it's gone. I just don't even know if...
This is the problem with Lantrix. You collect information to gather, and then it gets hoarded with one person. I thought the idea was spreading information. The org is meant to spread information, but you won't even spread information freely between yourselves. I don't know how you expect...
You won't listen to me though, Zolan. What do you want to know? I'll tell you everything I know.
And I wouldn't sell yourself short. These people weren't here by mistake. They destroyed all of this for a reason, and it's probably because they were on the right track. If we're right and it's state funded, I keep asking myself every hour, why aren't the Justicaries here picking this place apart? Well, clearly they just did.
I wouldn't put it past the elves.
It has to be.
But it's just the fact that there's a flow of knowledge. We keep getting told, come and learn, come and find out about the secrets of Asher and its history, and yet they're keeping secrets between themselves.
But look what happened.
I know, and now nobody knows anything. Nothing's none the better.
But this is what happens when you share information in this kingdom. People die.
I feel like you're trying to read words in the dirt when you're surrounded by a forest, alright? If you really want to know what happened, you go to Equa, and you seek out this gang, and you follow the trail. But you're all too cowardly to go. You don't want to go to Equa, you don't want to stare in the mouth of the lion. If you honestly want to find out why, you go where the problem is.
It's alright for you to say, you're from there.
I'm a hero in Equa. I can get you places.
Malcolm's a hero in Equa.
The only thing keeping us alive here, let alone in Equa, is the fact that we're all dead people.
Lantrix produces the book that she picked up from the Bastion in... What was the lady's name? The alchemist.
Kendra.
In Kendra's supplies. Do you recall that large dusty tome? You want to share knowledge, Zolan? This is the last thing that I read. It's called The Extradition of Men. It describes how, after the cowl was sealed, there was a huge coup by the elves to take control of the knowledge of Equa. Humans were never permitted magical knowledge again. They believe it was a human wizard who created the chimes.
Okay. A human female? Does it say anything about a gender in there?
It doesn't say. It was a very interesting book. And I'm amazed that this lady had that line there, but it filled in a lot of amazing blanks for me. Knowledge is controlled here in Asher. I guess we don't make too many copies of the most important pieces because we don't know how it will be used. Hence why there's something so important in that text that even I wasn't permitted to read it.
Well, thanks for sharing that.
But we know its name, and that's not nothing. We also know who were involved in the creation of the cow. We know vaguely where they all are. I don't think you understand the importance of this map. I've lived in the Elven lands all my life, and I've never seen a map like this before. Perhaps in my father's house, but nothing in comparison to this, and it doesn't even have cities on it. This piece of information alone could have us all killed.
Virtually useless. Where even are we? Well, when I looked at this map, I didn't know where even are we?
I'm going to give Zolan an inspiration just for the the persistence of character. You've got inspiration.
Thank you very much.
I mean, I'm only
This was-
like 2.5 foot tall, but I can do the extrapolation and work out where we are. So.
Yeah, I know, but if that's the case, how is this piece of information? So, if we can, we all have this information.
Mhm.
This doesn't give us any new information. Yet this is something that can murder us.
It does. It tells us where the Osai are.
Yeah, but Thorinir knows where the Osai are. We don't need a map to tell us that. He
Thorinir
knows
can-
they're to the west.
Guess, but yeah, but
It would take a while to retrace those steps.
we must assume that this is a guess. We can't just look at one piece of a map where nobody's ever seen one before and assume it's true.
That's what all information is.
I
It's just
know.
the best interpretation of what you've been given
you
before.
question
would
so
agree.
many things, Olin. You move in no directions. You can comprehend so much that you have absolutely no way of choosing a path.
I've got a path where I would like to go, but I don't know if we want to go there. 'Cause
What, home and to
Bed.
bed?
not home and to bed. The last time you guys didn't know about this, before we ended up into Dathkar Crag, we ended up going into a bank vault,
Okay.
and we pulled tickets out to a lockbox in Shadecap, and this was right before we ended up going into the Void Caves.
Okay.
There's a toxin to the east, which, according to this map, is potentially on our way to Shadecap. We just heard hearsay from all of these people about potentially this over there. We've got windsocks being created in the southeast or whatever it was. We've never heard of this. A couple of windsocks. There's a pox happening in the gnomish regions. I don't know. At least this is a small piece of certainty. We've been into the jaws of void, somehow come out. I know it's hard to believe. But we've been there and come out. And on our travels was leading towards Shadecap. I can't remember why we had this. Where was it? We was in like a shopping mall. No, it wasn't a shopping mall. I can't remember.
The
It was in
Adorium.
Dathkar Crag, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Before we went in, and there was the room with the sand, and we ended
That was
up
the money pot.
the
bank
money
vault,
pot.
yeah.
Is that what was that in Dathkar?
It was.
It was right before the gnome lines, before we went in, and then
Weird flowers.
Yeah.
Eventually.
That was a slightly different room. Yeah, that was the. Yeah, it was another one. But yeah, you went. You had to find Conrack and Wenton.
That's
who,
right. Conrad
Who
and
bismuth?
Winston,
Between the three of them, they had the 3 keys to the lockbox or something like
Yes,
that.
that's
Something of
right.
that nature. I can't
Yeah.
quite remember.
But-
But you managed to get into their lockbox and find tickets to Shadecap.
yes. Tickets to Shadecap.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was
Or
what
tickets
Was,
through the Elven Gate to Shadecap.
was that all it was? Was it tickets through the Elven Gate?
I've-
Not as powerful piece of information I thought it was going to be.
I feel like you all have little bits of the same story, and you're arguing over each other, as to which part of the same problem that is most important. We came to this place.
Yeah.
We walked into the first building that we saw, and there were people murdered, and we fought people. And now we're like, oh, we don't know what to do. Oh, we're so confused. Go to another building, see what others is going on, see what other people have to say. Between us, we do not know enough stuff. We need to ask others.
I would agree. This was the exact point I started with at the beginning.
That is not what you said.
This is the exact point. We're on aimlessly. We need information.
Right, this way. He's gonna point outwards. Come on, Elantrix, you've heard enough. Some of this has been incredibly disrespectful, and even I said some of it.
So you walk back through. I'm gonna stay here just a little longer.
I understand.
You walk back past the flowers in that central room. There's another smaller room as you exit with the 4 flower beds in, if you recall as well.
Is there still smoke billowing out of the big room, by the way?
There is, yeah. This had 6 doors around it down here, and then there's a staircase down towards that main entrance where you found the trail of blood. Leaving the building.
Yes, please.
And we will take a short break. We will see you back. What we are on? We'll see you at 1:15. That gives us around 1/4 the hour, which gives us just over 5 minutes. Okay.
5
See
minutes.
you all very shortly.
Toodles.
And we're back. We're getting a classic camera overheating warning on camera. That's why we're a minute or so late. But hopefully that'll be alright. Hopefully.
I'm at a banana.
Completed it, mate.
Completed the banana.
You return
Camera.
into Spetakaza.
Banana?
And again, under this dim, cool shade, much well, it wasn't warm in the other room, but back in, it felt like it should be hot in that place. It's quite refreshing to be back out in the fresh air, having struggled so much with that smoke previously. You're under the great shadow of the bell above this building, but also the great Nell itself. Again, you feel a little off balance, like you're stepping off of a playground roundabout. The swirling, dizzying feeling that seems to be contained within Spetakaza somehow. The dust sort of moving in a circular fashion. These bugs, if you recall, these sort of shining black bugs flying anti-clockwise against the natural dizzying direction. These little, if you recall, the little kind of eroded mounds of earth that were holding each building up, and then these different buildings in and around. You look across to where Phi told you the control room for the Nell was. This golden semicircular building that's in the centre of this area. You also look across to where he indicated the Star Servitory was. You can see both of those buildings, and if you recall, thirdly, he told you, you asked about if there was a shop or a store, and he pointed you toward that as well. So all those buildings you can still see.
In hindsight, based on everything you guys said, this was kind of inevitable. You've got a group of people who are trying to gather information in a land where information is considered deadly, and they create a 1,000-mile bell and they ring it. This was probably always going to happen.
You'd think they'd have more in the way of security.
Yes. To the Star Servitory?
To the Star
Let's
Servitory.
not start another one.
Okay, so you're heading to the Star Servitory.
Is that the place with our mural?
Just
Oh,
about,
okay.
just
Da Vinci.
just on the. Is there anybody else about? I mean, nobody else has noticed.
Yeah, there's an alarmingly
chaos
low
and
number of
lunacy
people.
that was going on.
Just a lich. Just there.
Does the building look ablaze from the outside? Weird. Just a smoke? You see the smoke coming up? No. What? That's totally odd.
As we're leaving the building, I am going to be looking down at the ground as we're walking around, looking for. Actually, what sort of ground is it here? The underfoot? Is it dirt? Is it mud? Is it
Plains, I
Paved.
think, isn't it?
Yeah, so you've got, as you kind of have to walk down just a little bit from this sort of strange, like, earthy mound.
soft earth?
It's
Packed.
very, very smooth. Yeah, kind of. There's a layer of looser.
I'm
Earth on the
looking for
top.
any indication, anything, like a couple of drops of blood or
So as you,
running footsteps.
so if you
Anything that might indicate where.
Or gambles.
Gobblers.
give me a survival roll.
Just anything that looks wrong
Mhm.
or.
So that immediately springs into action.
I'm
Chasing
stop
the blood.
using these dice. I really am. That's survival. That's 9.
So there was that trail of blood that was sort of leaving the
That was in the main building.
the main building or arriving at the main building. You never determined quite which direction. I don't think it was going from.
You know, if this white-haired guy has come out of here There has to be some sort of trace.
Yeah, you lose you lose any kind of a trail at the door. You just can't pick it up.
He's dead or gone, Malcolm. We have to move on and move on quickly.
We can always try the dog nose. It's a
It's
20.
a natural 20.
Dog
Ah,
sniffer to the wind!
I want that noise.
How do you feel about that, Jack?
How do you feel about that?
He's like, oh shit.
You happy for me to do something?
Yeah, so you're trying to
Still
follow a trail of,
Yeah.
of particularly
Looking
of
for
blood.
Anything.
Yeah, or, look, we've just been in a whole ton of smoke.
Yeah.
We probably stink of smoke.
Mm.
So, he's trying to see if anyone's run out of here stinking of smoke.
Okay.
Plus 0 to survival. So.
Yeah. Okay, so as the winds are really rushing around here, so you think it's possible that someone left this building stinking of smoke, but instantly it just sort of gets lost in this swirling wind. You do pick up the blood trail again, though, with a roll that good. Looks like the blood trail that's connected to the one either going up or down the staircase that you saw previously. So, assuming you decide to
Of course he does.
sniff along that,
He's on 4 legs, just following it. I've got a little something.
Can you compare to your blade?
There's a little something here.
Possibly.
so you follow it around. It leads around the side of the building, sort of around the back side of it. You follow it around, you see the big tower again that you were in previously.
He's darting left and right with his nose to the floor.
Yeah.
And it goes right around the back of the building. You lose it for a moment or two and then pick it up again. There is a... it leads quite clearly to a big pile of wood. The same pile of wood that I think you saw out the window at one point in time as you peeked through. It looks like, and it stinks and not just you. If you're all going round, even human noses. This is a really pungent, smelly pile of wood, and it looks like it's been kind of.
I know what this is going to be, I think.
It looks like it's kind of been broken down in some regard. It looks like it was a larger construction of some nature, and it's been dismantled.
It doesn't look like it was once the shape of a horse, does it? That would obviously.
There aren't any horses. Horses are a lie, Conrad.
A ladder? Could it once have been a ladder or something?
Why would
So it's quite a large amount of wood. Picture, a pretty well piled up. Let's say maybe
IKEA table.
it's maybe
Toilet
3 or 4 foot wide, couple of foot high, a bit more maybe, with some sort of and then there's looks to be sort of a second very similar pile quite nearby as well. So very clearly a very big
Stinks.
pile of dismantled, stinky wood.
Stinky of what?
Look, I just. I got the nose, but I don't really get what this is all about. The guy or someone came out of the building with blood trail, ran to the stinky pile of wood.
I'm gonna.
Turned into stinky piles of wood.
What?
I'm
What?
going to have a closer look at the stinky pile of wood. Something stinks.
Anything particular you're trying to do or look at?
Well, okay, apart from the fact that it smells bad,
Oh, you didn't state that. Does it smell bad or good? Or does it smell dog good, which can sometimes be bad?
Oh yeah, it's you. It's lovely.
yeah, I mean, what sort of stinky are we dealing with? Blood stinky, rotten stinky,
Well, you're organic stinky
organic stinky.
Interesting.
in some fashion.
Decomposing stinky.
That sort of unpleasant kind of rotty smell.
So
yeah.
I'm going to sort of poke at it with my foot and just remove it from being a pile and just spread it out a bit, see if there's anything underneath
Is
it.
it a sock?
And you're probably
Oh,
having to
so-
hold your nose a little bit, breathe into your top because it really is a foul aroma. So if you give me an investigation roll.
Investigation. Oh, that's not so bad. 14, 16.
And so it looks like it's a crate that's been broken down. Because a few of the pieces are still sort of nailed together. You can work it out. Zolan, if you're here as well. It was.
It's not one of them fucking robots, is it?
It was one of. It was a crate of the type identical to weasels.
Oh,
Oh dear.
weasels.
Oh, jeez.
So it smells like dung, does it?
Yeah, I've slept in one of these for 3 or 4 days.
So Weasel was here.
Well, I'm going to look for any of the markings. Weasel used to sometimes communicate with little scratches on trees. Is there anything around that is a...
Wait a minute. Where did Weasel come from?
Who is Weasel?
Weasel
He
is...
didn't come from Shadecap, presumably.
No idea. I met Weasel in Shadecap. He's everywhere. Weasel... No, he is literally he's everywhere. Weasel knew Badua. So Weasel was the guy that gave me the
Invitation.
invitation, yeah, to Badua. And he took me in the back of his Weasel cart from Shadecap through the Elven Lands. I hid in the back of his cart all the way through the Elven Lands, and he dropped me off in.
The only reason I ask is I was worried, given that you knew him and you were a gnome, that whatever this is would be covered in plague. But as soon as you're not worried, feel free to poke
I
away.
have no idea what this plague is. I've never heard of this plague, but hopefully it's not real. That would be sad.
You rolled a dice
It was 20 for investigation.
To do what?
for investigation.
Investigation, yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
not natural, but it was 20.
Sure. Okay. So you look through it. You're not definite that it was Weasels himself,
Only one man
but
trades
it
weasels.
is a very similar, extremely similar crate. There is blood within this crate. Stains on some of the wood. There is also what you would make out to be a smell of like urea within there. There are also some interesting tracks which aren't footprints, but there's some interesting tracks leading away from it with a roll of 20.
Leading away in which direction?
Towards the entrance, the same way you came in to Speticars.
No markings, no nothing like that.
There's no markings on the crate as such, no, other than the staining and stuff.
Anything on the base of the tower?
Um,
Anything just scratched in?
Go ahead and give me another
That's all right.
survival roll, I would say.
Not going to be great. I'll give you a guess that it's going to be 10, but I'm just double check.
Sure. You don't see anything
It's
with a 10. Yeah.
yeah.
No, you don't see anything with a 10.
Interesting. God.
So you think that maybe he's housed some animals or something? It smells kind of rough.
Only one man traded weasels, and that was Weasel.
The tracks hit the same way we came. I don't know how I feel about going back the same way we came.
It must have been here fairly recently.
Well, the blood trail comes this way. So I assume this is how our Blue Pants man left.
And the trail ends here?
Yes.
There's no body. How the hell would you go next? I presume there's no body. Not an obvious silver-haired man sprawled across the top of the crate.
No, you have a pretty good look through. It's pretty gross and smelly, but yeah, there's no body here.
Unless he changed shape.
That's a fair point.
Unless he changed into some stinky crates. He's just hiding.
Do you want to ask the crates?
No, but there's tracks leading away from here. They're not human tracks.
He could have had it come.
we
He could
have
have
a
had
shape
it come
changer here, right here with us. I mean, it's not beyond the realms of possibility.
So I should be more explicit with what the tracks appear to be. They are they're not footprints of any type,
Oh,
but there's a mysterious trail leading away.
Okay.
snake?
We
A
could,
We
basilisk.
just don't know enough.
can we see anything in the distance? Like, are they 100 foot away, going away, or
The tracks.
whatever this is going off in that direction?
Yeah,
is
so-
the track obvious enough to follow, or is
Yeah.
it?
So give me a survival roll.
Oh, jeepers.
Can I help?
Yeah.
Felix is also looking at the
Yeah.
track.
I've got a 19 to help you with all that.
19.
Okay.
Natural 20.
It's a
Oh,
group.
oh, there we go.
A group
That's-
check. So
I
you've
want
got
to get a
enough.
21.
That's
No, 50.
close to 60.
One
It's a one.
way.
Sorry, guys.
Oh,
We've
no,
got to be
it's
Let
less.
it down.
Got to be something to back.
It's wheels.
Woo-hoo.
If it's wheels, they can't be moving too quickly. Oh damn! I would almost give my sword for a Great Dane right now. They are quick across ground. I need something to ride.
It's not
Maybe
right.
Assumptions not quick. Could be pulled. We either go now, like, if I'm honest, I think they're too far away. We've wasted too much time already. We need to get out of here.
This is it.
Well,
This is it.
that's going towards the exit anyway. So if we're going to go, we go that way. Are we going to go? What do we do? Do we go to the
I wanted to see the Star
Observatory,
Servitory.
or do we follow this?
I could scout ahead. You guys head up to Star Observatory. If he's within distance, I might travel faster on my own anyway.
We do need to gather more information. I would rather go to the Star Observatory and speak to people, but I don't mind if you hunt them down.
Thorn can also travel fast. Should be able
Probably
for
faster than me.
aiding Sildon.
Not on human feet, not faster than you, I wouldn't have thought. Yes. I'll try and keep up. And I'll run ahead.
So you and Sildon are going together, following the tracks.
I would
That's right.
shout, the weasel's a friend as well, if you meet him. That's what you run off. He's a friend!
And then the three of you heading to the Star Observatory. Is that correct?
Yeah. We
Yeah.
should find out what we can quickly.
Yeah,
and move on.
yes, quickly.
Sure thing.
Oh, they'll be back.
So you start heading that direction.
Sorry for splitting the party.
No, that's fine. And then you get toward the edge of the bell, of the knell. And can you give me another survival roll?
Oh, jeepers. I'm not going to be able to keep this up all night.
Is this a double?
You can help
Yeah,
if you
you
want
can.
to.
You can. Well, you can give one of the other. One of you can give the other
I've got
advantage.
+0, so if you got anything better than me.
I got a 20 that isn't natural.
You've
Okay.
got +4, yeah.
Or if you
Good.
do it with advantage.
22.
It looks like it's heading toward the Spetkaza curtain entrance, the gate. The same. Yeah, very certain that's the way it's headed.
Okay. We press on.
I guess so.
So you'll follow that for a period of time. I'll come back onto these guys.
I wonder if it was the weasel.
I don't know. I've never met him.
The weasel took us from the gnome line. He's who took us to Wick. Demon
While I was
Zolan,
un-
did you
while
hear
I was
that?
unconscious.
Yeah. Did you imagine? Did you hear that? No.
What do you think's in a Star Servitory?
Let's go find out.
Do I know what a
He's
star?
sort of looking at it.
Do I know what a star is, Jeff? Do I know what a star is? I know what a star is. All right,
You'll
cool.
you will see stars
That's
in the
all
night sky. Yeah.
What servitories?
Yeah.
You're greeted by a rectangular terracotta brickwork building, terracotta coloured brickwork building, which is connected by raised brass walkways to two other cylindrical domed buildings, these high walkways, both made of stunning polished brass, which is apparently the only way to access these buildings from the outside. Kind of looks like that's the case. Augurs, first augurs you've seen for a little while alive at least, look down at you from one of the walkways as you approach. A sign on the entrance to this building reads Spetakaza Star Servitory. Above this building, just like all the other buildings, there's a large bell which hangs above it, and it's on this raised earthy mound. So it's kind of like three connected buildings, a larger one, two smaller brass ones, and these three buildings are connected by these brass walkways. But it only seems like there's an entrance, at least from where you are, to this main large building.
These signs are all written in Elvish, or they're written in Common.
It's written in Elvish, yes.
Felix, with his sword over his shoulder, will wave up at the people and be like, "Hello, friends! We bring news.
Okay.
Can we come in?
Yes.
Nice."
And they sort of gesture to the door.
You better come down to meet us.
We cannot.
It's not safe.
Some others are in there who can meet you.
Okay, we're going in.
Don't go in that building. Point. Just don't go in.
We'll explain.
I don't want to cause a panic. Come back.
Did you see anybody coming out of that building?
No.
No? Okay.
They're coming back.
They're just still on the walkway up there.
Nice to meet you.
After a short time further, you can give me, let's say you've gone another mile perhaps
We're quick.
to the south. You're going some, aren't you? Going some. What? Yeah, give me another roll.
Oh, if you do it with advantage again.
Not a good start.
Yeah. 15.
15.
Karina wants to lose.
You're still tracking these wheel prints. They're faint in places, and you lose them and have to guess where they are and pick them up again a little bit later. You'd estimate it's a kind of cart-sized, and yeah, you're still following them south.
It's travelling south. Okay. Keep on.
So back into the Star Servitory. You enter this room, and you walk in to this grand room. Very, equally not as high as the study, which was a big, tall, ceilinged room with the tower, but it's open. It's big and open. As you walk in, a similar design in many ways. There are some amazing sights when you walk in. So as you walk into this room, you're greeted by this strange contraption. You suspect there could be some gnomish in there. This is a mechanized contraption. A very large, few foot wide, what looks like a sphere, golden sphere in the center of this room, and it's surrounded by these wiry brass rings which wrap around it, many feet, 20 feet, 30 feet broad and across, interlapping and offset brass or gold rings which are all around this thing, almost like the rings of Saturn or something, but much thinner and all around this sphere. There are then a load of different star-shaped objects all around these.
Star-shaped or?
Like a actual star,
Yeah.
or
celestial body, not a depiction of a star.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 3D star.
Yeah.
That are positioned all around these different rings that are around this central sphere.
Is that an unusual thing in Asher?
Oh, you've never seen anything like this?
To depict something that is out there. Is that a weird thing?
You may have at some point in time thought a little bit about the stars
Yeah.
in some of your previous lives and things, but it's not something that's really studied per se. They're just there, you know. They're just things. And it fills the room. It fills this huge, you know, we're talking 60 or 70 foot long room, 50 foot wide room. This thing is just in the centre of the room and is a massive, great centrepiece to this whole room.
Is it moving? Or is it just solid and stable?
Ooh, Theresa May, strong and stable.
It is. At the moment, it is very slightly moving. Yeah, really slowly.
Does a letter just fall off of the wall?
Yeah. So, and
It's
the orb in the centre is spinning just very, very slowly. You can detect just slight movement, and likewise these rings and these stars are just angling slightly differently at different times, just rotating just very, very slightly. There's some kind of clearly moving, maybe mechanised contraption.
Wow.
At least everyone here is alive.
Yeah.
The walls are
for now.
The walls kind of dark bluish, and there's large red drapes hanging over the windows. This is even though the study was quite a lavish place, and there was quite a lot of quiet opulence in the flowers and in the lighting and things like that, there wasn't much in the way of spectacular sights anywhere. This is clearly a big centerpiece, which is just amazing. And the room, the curtains, the lighting in here is very specific. Looks like they put some effort into the lighting and the way this thing is gleaming and lit up. And it's quite a dark room, but the device itself is sort of glistening, and it's clearly been lit in a certain way to draw attention.
Let's try not to destroy anything here.
Okay. It looks like you took a lot of effort to make that.
And would require a very small amount of effort to completely ruin it.
Okay.
Are
Are you
there,
joining?
are there augurs present?
There is one fairly short person who is next to the this device. Their back turned away from you. They're hooded. They have a cape. They're a little taller than Zolan. A little bit taller than Zolan. They have a sort of red cape, and they're quite broad in stance. And they're just sort of looking at this thing. They're back away from you.
What are the acoustics like in here?
Let's find out.
Hello!
Felix is gonna.
They turn back around. The acoustics are nowhere near as echoey as the study, which was a big, church-like building almost. This is a lot more dampened, but still the ceiling's relatively low. Stone floor. There's a few pots and things with stones around. There's candles everywhere. But as you say hello, the figure turns back around towards you all, and three of you are astounded to see the face of Goric,
Big Papa
the
Goric!
dark dwarf from Weird Wit.
What did he give us in the very first episode? He gave us a bug in a jar, and certainly did.
Oh.
He
Certainly gave us a bug in a jar.
it was the Ogia bug
Oh God, yeah.
from that.
We thought him dead, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was you thought you found him poisoned or something similar,
Yeah.
if you recall, early on.
Did he have it under his skin or
In the
something?
tunnel, and the bug was burrowing under
Yeah,
his
that
skin.
was it. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got it
Yeah.
out of him and put it in the jar. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't give.
No.
Malcolm took it when he thought he was dead.
But the bug was his wife all along. Yeah.
It was his wife.
He turns around and he looks towards you all, particularly the three of you.
I'm not here.
He's not
Yeah.
here.
Sorry, particularly the two of you. Zolan,
I
Malcolm.
do not believe this.
and he walks slowly towards you, and a smile spreads across his face. His dark, almost purpley skin, but it's grey purpley, very desaturated purple, and his big bushy white beard, black top, green almost cargo trousers, short 4 foot tall, brown boots, and then he looks, and his hood that he now pulls back from off his head, and he's bald and under that, and he comes over to you both, and obviously acknowledges Felix as well. I didn't think I'd ever see you again.
Likewise.
We thought you were dead.
I thought I was dead.
What happened at Wit? Weird Wit. What happened at Weird Wit?
Benji happened.
Rapscallion.
He poisoned
The
me
word you don't
He
hear.
poisoned you.
with the Ogya bug. He wanted me dead.
This guy's a real piece of... He's a real man of action. You'll like this guy.
I've never met him in my
Yeah,
life.
but you'll like him, trust me.
Okay.
Badua. He taught me about the cow.
He did, thank God.
He told me his secrets
God.
when I passed the inculcation.
Was that a toxin?
No,
Oh, sorry.
Weirdwood is not connected directly to the augurs,
Okay.
though Badua knew much. He taught me the importance of this object, the cow. He taught me things that Benji overheard, and it was enough for Benji to try to kill us. I tried to hold that thing that came through the ceiling above us in Weirdwood as long as I could. I tried to save everybody,
It was a
But
great
I-
flying engine.
couldn't. I held it as long as I was able to. And when the explosion came, I was able to shelter no more than myself. Everyone around me died. Badua, Elizabeth, some of the orphans. Benji killed them all.
Bench. You'd be glad to know that Maul is still alive. Do you remember Maul? Do you remember the young blonde-haired boy?
I think so.
He's joined a toxin down south. He's a changed boy, unfortunately. He's very quiet now and a little bit cold, really. But it's good to know that he's alive. He made it out.
What are you doing here?
I came here to learn more.
Is he wearing white robes? He is. He's in augurs.
No, he's not.
No, he's not
He's
in
not
augurs,
wearing
right?
augurs
He's
costume.
Red.
He's
Getting a
red,
re-
yeah.
red, almost quite a dark, almost a brown red, like a
Corn red.
Vermilion.
a vermilion. We'll go vermilion. Very nice. Yeah.
Also, he looks legit.
He is legit, this guy.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
And what of you? It is so good to see you. And your dog.
Hi.
This is Felix.
Actually, you're wrong. This is Felix Fernite of the Aqua Fernites. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you as well.
Hero of the arena.
I've heard of the Fur Knights.
Thank you very much. This he knows. He knows his stuff. Nice to meet you. Hate to spoil the reunion, but the building over there, whole ton of people are dead right now, and a lot of the information that you came here to study has been burned up.
He looks at you, and his face kind of drops.
The Star Engine. Gone.
The Star Engine.
Did you know about this? The book?
The Star Engine is the book held in the central chamber of the study.
Yeah, not anymore.
What do you mean?
Well, it's been destroyed.
How?
I saw it burn in black fire with my own two little eyes.
There is a gang upturned. The place is ablaze right now. It's rather odd. See these? I'll pull my jacket apart and show these 3 stab wounds.
It's burning on
It's-
the
it's-
inside, but not on the outside. Some sort of strange magical.
Have you heard of a gang with a knife?
The blue
2
blades.
The blue blade, yeah. 2 elven wings.
Benji.
There's
Benji.
9 or 10 of them dead in there. The leader's loose. All the augurs have died.
Benji.
He was a blue blade.
Can you remind me? Is Benji an elf?
Benji is not an elf.
Yeah, I can't remember what his race was. Do
He
we
was-
know his race?
He was human.
He was
yeah.
human, yeah. I thought he wasn't.
Benji.
Does he have a tongue?
Benji.
Benji definitely had a tongue.
You're running 2 miles south of this.
I was running. You just heard me say that.
Does
while
he have a
running.
tongue?
Does he have a tongue?
Did he have a
Benji
tongue?
was a
Strange person.
A blue blade.
Yes, he was there. Yes. You went to Dathgar Crag.
We did.
I heard stories that you met Void.
That's one way of looking at it, yes. Yeah, there was quite the confrontation. And apparently Void was destroyed.
Do you know who else was there? Benji and Darek. I think people give us the credit for killing Void, but to be honest, I think we'd all be dead if it wasn't for Benji and Darek.
Benji. Whatever the cowl is, it was enough for Benji to do this. He had no other reason.
What's his motivation? What's his core benefit?
Benji is a bitter man. We did not get all of his story. He only spent a short time with us at Weirdwood. But he was never going to pass his inculcation, never going to pass the trials. He didn't care. He had no sage. He had no leadership. He had no virtue.
I'll join in on the last one. I remembered.
He
Okay, this is obviously not a coincidence that the Nell was attacked, or the store of information was attacked by people connected with Benji. Something that
What do you mean it was attacked?
well, the augurs have been killed.
The augurs.
Many of them are dead, and
Was it the machine again?
No. No. Just the blue blades.
Which machine?
There was a machine that would fly with noise like a screaming Maidlock. It was. You wouldn't believe it. I could try and draw it, but there's nothing right. There's been none of us at that point in time had seen anything mechanical and flying. Right? It was.
Well, I've
Yeah,
been
it
told
would
that there's a
be-
flying city, so I mean, this has been a hell of a day.
That is true. Actually, you're right. But
I don't think that's normal.
I think that was a floating city. I think this is a flying.
This is a mechanical.
Mechanical.
Tomato.
Where are Nolus and Thorinir and Claro?
Thorinir is with a companion of ours.
Chasing a car.
Claro is missing. Nolus is dead.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I think Nolus died a warrior's death. I think he would have. Don't be
There
so.
was certainly no shame in the way he went.
No.
But that it was at the confrontation with Void.
He walks away from you all forward. He doesn't turn back or gesture or anything. He just walks towards a door, a large, more of an opening, narrow, tall, arched opening, and the doors are already opened on the far side. And just walks in that direction, a slow pace.
Follow him.
Okay.
I think it's an invitation for.
Definitely, yeah.
I told you we should come to Star Servitory.
We'll come back onto you two while you are heading south.
Still following this track.
Do we
Give me
need to
another roll.
still?
Oh, roll, baby.
I'll roll again.
Let's get more.
11.
11. You begin to lose this trail. You're extraordinarily certain it's heading to the gate, the main gate at Spetakaza Curtain that you guys passed through previously. But you've lost the tracks themselves.
Can we see it?
From recollection, it was around about 4 miles was your distance that you travelled. You've been following it for about 2 miles probably.
I don't think we'll be able to catch up with this
Do
too.
all your contraptions.
Don't have any peepers.
I guess we call it.
It's gone.
We know it's travelling south, but who knows if it travels out of the way from there. It's as far as we can go.
I don't think I'll be let out of this gate again.
You'd be surprised. I could probably get us through. I guess we hold up here. Wait for the others to follow us in the other direction we came.
Yeah, we'll have a little snackaroonie.
We're probably going to need to make camp by the time they're done anyway. So.
We'll head back in later if it's taking ages or we see lots of smoke.
So what are you doing?
We're holding tight, assuming that when these guys are done, they're going to catch up with us, and we're going to have to make camp on the road. It's an assumption, but they know where we are. So rather than
Still
lose each
quite
other.
early in the day. It's only
Yeah, one of us is almost dead.
early afternoon. No, sure. Yeah.
You might
Yeah.
want to rest.
So are you pitching
Oh,
up?
sweet.
Are you pitching up a tent?
No, I don't think so.
No.
We're probably just chilling out for now.
Chat shit.
Short rest. When are you doing more short rest?
Fine. Anything you're doing with your? Are you formally
use
taking
like
a
a
short
short
rest?
Don't really need to.
No.
No. I suppose it is by proxy, but
Do it.
Well, if it is a short rest, then
well, there you go.
I can take a long rest, in theory.
Sure.
Or get the benefits of a long rest.
Can you? In a short rest?
Yeah. That's why I'm always on watch.
Oh, it's good that, isn't it? I thought you just had it reduced like half the time. Because a short rest is 1 hour, isn't it? Short rest.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm reading this.
Yeah. Short rest is 1 hour. Long rest is 8 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you think half
Okay.
the time.
I thought short rest was 4 hours.
Oh, no, yeah.
So are you taking a short rest? That's where you can
Yeah, I guess so.
expend hit die to heal.
Short
Yeah.
rest is like a sit on a picnic bench or a
Yeah,
have a
'cause
picnic.
Coroner is. He has done some hits.
Yeah.
You get spell slots back and stuff like that as well sometimes
Yeah.
on a short rest.
Depends on your class. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So you're expending hit die to heal up a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Take my temps out.
Have you ever done hit die before, Carl?
Yeah, those shorts.
You'll have a
I'll let Carl and Ollie hit die in the background while we return to the
You've
other
got-
scene.
5d8, so you can in any
Good luck.
short rest you can roll up to 5d8 and add them. But then
I don't need that money.
as you use
Unless I
them,
roll one.
you'll tally them off because you can have several short rests over
So you
the
don't
day.
have to use all
Okay,
5
so
at
you
once.
don't have to use
You
all
use
5.
one. and then see what the result is, then choose to use another
Yeah.
one. We can use up to 5
And
every
then
day.
they will replenish after a long rest.
Short rests.
So not a great start.
I'm going to do 2.
We generally get do you ever get a plus?
No.
You don't, yeah? Do you not?
Actually, when it
Plus
comes
you
down
can't.
to it, I think
No,
I
I
could do
thought-
with a rest
I
as well.
thought
Because
you
I think I can't remember recharging since using up a couple of my key and some significant
You have a
damage.
sleep between this room and the next room.
A little sleepwalk.
Yeah.
So at some point, I'm going to need to have a rest.
Goric might be really disappointed if you just kip on the floor.
You can add your con modifier to each one.
Yeah, I thought you
Oh, is it really plus con? I've
Yeah, I
not
thought-
been
yeah.
doing that.
Which is probably nothing.
So,
It's not.
so back in the
Back in the room.
the room. They call this room behind us the Startarium. And as he continues to walk down this narrow hallway, it opens out through this curtain onto this sort of brass walkway that you saw from below. It wasn't the one that you were calling up to the augurs on. This is which you can see over to your left-hand side as you're back into fresh air here. You've gone up a ramp a little bit as well to increase your height, and it walks over this walkway. And as you look across, you're back out in the main part of Spetakaza. And there's another brass building at the far end. This is the Star Servitory. He again walks through a curtain, peels it back, holds it for you, and walks forward a little more. And you're greeted by another room which has a higher platform, circular platform above it. On the platform there are dials, gauges, scrolls, mathematical scribbles all over the place. There's chalkboards, some kind of research of some nature going on here. But then, strikingly, there is a huge contraption, and in the centre of the room, it is. To save Faf, it's an enormous telescope in the middle of the room, pointing at the ceiling. Small gap in the ceiling. It's highly unlikely any of you know what a telescope is. Just for aesthetic purposes, that was
Yeah.
the shorter way of describing it. And Goric, or particularly a telescope of this size pointing upward.
This is a trumpet.
Death laser.
You may know. You may have
You want
witnessed
to
it.
roll for one?
Oh, yeah, I'm happy for you to
Well,
give me a history on it. Yeah,
History. Is it a magical item by any chance?
not that you're aware of.
Oh, a
It
natural.
will be a
one.
14.
A 14.
It's a big glass stick.
You
Look at
th-
the sky.
You get advantage
you
of
think
history rolls. if
Your
you
guess is
can.
it contains an ocular.
Cool. Yeah.
I
recommend.
think
Of
it
some
contains
nature.
an orcula.
Yeah.
An orcular.
Yeah.
No
big
orcs
thing
in
with
there, I'm
orcs in it.
afraid.
I've got a natural one. As far as I know, it could be made out of cheese.
Chesney.
He walks up a few stairs. It's a large room again, not as large as the previous one, but a big circular room. This big focal point is this great brass
Oh, we get 12.
telescope pointing out of the ceiling.
While nobody's
Um,
looking, I'm going to pick up a piece of chalk and change some of the numbers on the equation.
Yeah, sure. You can give me a sleight of hand if you'd like.
It's 8.
Without looking around, Goric says, "Please don't."
Naughty score.
And he walks up to the telescope, and he just adjusts it just slightly, and he looks down it or up it, and then continues talking.
What are you looking at? What do you see through that thing?
Try it yourself if you'd like.
Okay, I'll have a look.
You walk up to it. You don't see anything. Pitch black.
Use the other eye. The one that's open.
Same experience. Yeah.
The one that's open.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong here.
Same experience.
But you do have a big black outline.
Yeah. You see, there's a huge bell above us.
I knew that. So what's the point of having a big thing that looks up at the sky if there's a great big bell blocking your view?
Well, there isn't much at all, is there? I don't think the bell was always here.
Interesting.
Okay.
This place is some kind of study of the stars and of the planet that we're on,
Is that
Asher.
what that contraption was in the other room? Mapping out the world and
I believe so. Some kind of a study of the way that the stars move in the sky.
What's a planet?
the thing is standing.
Don't even know if I know about planets.
You mean the disc?
Oh boy.
Planet. The world that we're on is a sphere.
No, it isn't. We all know it's flat.
It's a disc. It's a disc surrounded by an ice curtain.
Yeah.
On the back of 4 elephants riding a turtle. It is a sphere, they believe.
They want you to think that.
Yeah.
I'm not here. I said that.
I mean, there's so many
You're an awfully
citations.
strange person. I don't know what told you that.
There's so many citations in this room. We should believe what he says.
The numbers here, done by cleverer people than me, they describe how the stars move in the sky, and the only way they could do it, according to the maths, unless magic is involved, which is possible, is if the planet was a sphere, if Asher was a sphere.
Does that have anything to do with the cowl? What, bro? What?
I
It's,
don't-
I mean, it sounds wonderful. Living on a ball, but how does that? What's that got to do with the cowl?
I'm trying to work some of that out
Oh,
myself.
you are. Are you okay?
It has nothing to do with the girl.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
I can't yet tell you what Medua told me.
Oh, you've got to look at me. 3 stab wounds.
You'll see a beating heart.
There's no beating heart.
This is
there?
pretty hardcore. This is also pretty hardcore. This is pretty hardcore. He needs to know.
Oh, you don't want to be doing this.
But I can get you closer.
Closer to what?
He turns around and just does something with his hands behind just to obfuscate it from you.
Yeah.
And he has a candle in his hand, and it's just lit it. And he reaches into one of many pouches he has on his belt, and he takes out 3 small things from his belt. Have you travelled with them long?
Oh, yeah, I travelled. I guess it's been probably be about 10 days, right? Maybe a little less than 10 days.
Has he been useful?
We
Yeah.
trust him.
It's good in a fight.
He... Would you please kneel?
Okay, well.
If he's going to give me some information, I would kneel.
Yeah,
Well,
Phoenix
that's
is
in
going to lean the big ass sword up next to the doorway and then come back over.
Probably a
to
bit of blood would pour out of a wound with this amount of effort to get down low.
and he'll kneel down with Garrick.
What are you doing?
It's been a while, please forgive me. Witnesses of Weirdwit, you have served your cause well. You've learnt, you've listened, you've studied, you have accrued information. You are teachers, you are students, you are wise. And he takes a small, what looks like a bean or a seed or something. And he gives one to you, he gives one to you,
Don't eat
and he gives one to you.
Too late.
I grant you, bestow the title upon you, witnesses of Sage. He just stands there quietly with the candle.
Thank you.
This is a glorious day for his own.
Do we have anything else? What does that entitle was to? Are we enlightened?
You must become leaders before you can become enlightened.
Corrick, we're going to need some information. We really are.
You must become truly virtuous before you can become enlightened.
Corrick, what happens? The Maru's dead. Next door, the Maru. The one who's read the star engine. It's burnt. Elandrix has seen it with her own eyes.
Then you must
The knowledge is gone.
Then you must complete your inculcation
Where-
even faster than you are now.
Where are we going to meet again?
I will be here. I'm not planning. Well, I am planning. Heed the red eyes, Badua said. I don't know where the red eyes are, but there are people. There are people who will want something else. I don't know where, and I'm trying to find out. They have the answers to the cowl.
Okay, that's some useful information.
I believe they are who Benji is searching for.
Interesting.
The cowl.
Benji's in the south right now. Or 10 days ago.
Southwest.
Southwest from Wick. Don't know what that's relative to. Do you have
West of Wick.
west of Wick?
So southwest from here.
Southwest, yes.
Your navigation is terrible, Joey.
There's no maps here.
We own them.
We do now. Is there, from your study, if you've been looking through the archives, would you assume the red eyes are towards the south?
Towards the outside. And the wood elves.
Badua was Osai. Badua was a great man, yet he was not welcome amongst his people.
We all seem to have that in common, don't we?
The red eyes are the key to all of this. And Benji knows that. I can only hope.
This red eyes, is it a name or is this literal a description?
They are a people.
We met an apparition of just red eyes.
Yeah.
Claro had a battle with a void of just red eyes. Was it Claro? I'm sure it was Claro. It was Claro, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was a premonition.
Yeah.
Was that when you went into the mining? You went into the mining room, wasn't it? Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Claro's gone. Claro come back from the gnome line, but on the day that everybody woke up, Claro went missing, along with an orb of potentially void. I never had the courage to touch it, and the pair have gone missing.
This orb. Can you describe it?
Yes, I can't quite remember. I remember it to be. It was very similar to, you know, when Void was summoning his last final attack, and then Darak coming, and you was fighting for it, and Darak was trying to harness this orb. It's like that on a miniature scale. Do you remember that? Remember that point?
I wasn't there.
Well, Clara was there. Do you remember that point? It's like that on a miniature. I can't really remember what it physically looked like.
Who are you talking to? Are you talking to Clara in your mind?
I'm just talking aloud to everybody, so
Thought it
we know what the
was
void
from his
looks
nap.
like.
I remember how it went, Zolan.
I mostly believe the Augur's story, but it is not the only story. There is another contradictory, complementary, bits overlap, bits don't, story that you'll find if you look for it in the right places.
Fancy nudging us in the right direction.
If you hunt for the red eyes, the story will unravel.
Does this have anything to do with it? Because I've been thinking about this for weeks on weeks on weeks about how when Void was defeated, the madness in the human realms was supposedly gone. Yet the Augurs keep claiming that when the 4 chimes have happened is the apocalypse. Yet the first chime seems to have brought a good to the world. We seem to have rid a whole nation of madness. But I don't get that. It seems I keep thinking the Augurs have it backwards. We've done good, yet we've furthered the apocalypse.
The madness is definitely linked to the cow.
Okay.
I am sure of that. I am sure of that.
Have you heard anything about these animals being found bloodless?
I have not.
A pox in the north. Over in the known lands. The academy.
Somebody was sent away recently.
No.
I recall. It could be to do with the chimes. Listen, I believe the Augur's intentions are noble. I believe most of their story. I too don't think they have it all right.
Yeah.
But I know that there are chimes. I think they're missing something, but I don't know what it is.
Glad I'm not the only one. I was getting worried.
I don't know if the chimes are the bloodlines that they reference, or if the chimes are something physical. Perhaps that orb you found.
Well, we've lost it, unfortunately.
You've lost it.
Yes.
You've lost it.
Maybe a brownie took it. I don't know.
That could
We've
be.
lost a comrade, Claro. We have some of the augurs looking for Claro. We don't have, actually. We sent Silden off, somebody who was a mercenary that we've met in the town. He went into Wick to look. And we haven't asked, actually, if what he found.
Where would you
That's a
have
good
us?
reminder.
Where would you have us go? Do you think it's worth investigating the Ottai, and will we find the red eyes there, or stories of?
Something that is inevitable is these chimes will be found, if not by you, then by Benji. And whether or not they're doing good, whether or not they're doing bad, I know whose hands I'd rather them be in.
Then that gives us our direction. We're just going to have to ask a lot of questions on the way.
Which direction are we going? I'm still confused.
We're going southwest, Zolan. Read a map.
To complete your inculcation, seek out, learn from the red eyes. find the chimes, the keys, the gods, whatever they are. And find the bloodlines. Dwarf, Yosai, the elf, the horned elves. I don't know if both are needed. I don't know if one is needed. But I know that these chimes will make themselves apparent, just like the madness did. If you follow the trails, you'll end up in the right place. You fought and defeated a god.
Pretty rich taking of it.
Starting so small in Weirdwood. I never dreamed that you five would be where you are. But I am proud of you. He turns away again and just walks back towards the main room, past you, towards the platform. Anything you guys would like to do?
I guess we're just learning about each other more than anything else. Just having a chat.
Just a
And you keep saying,
staring competition. Had one of those for a while.
Just sat coldly staring at one another. Sylvan's probably, at this point, stopping looking like an augur and probably put his old military coat back on. He's probably generally cleaned up his slightly blood-encrusted hands using a water skin and generally made himself look a lot more presentable. He'd probably keep the augur's robes, provided it's not smattered with blood. He'd probably keep it as part of his disguise pack.
Sure, yeah. It's not perfect. There's definitely some damage to it but it's passable at a cursory glance.
Cool. Other than that, I think we just staring competition.
Yeah.
Yep.
A little bit of singing maybe. It's not a fantasy world unless people sing when they've got nothing to do.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That is completely
Sing and
true.
smoke pipes.
Sing and smoke pipes.
He turns around halfway along the brass platform. Are you following?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
He's a dude.
Oh yeah.
Felix,
Yes.
is this your journey?
I think so. I was asked to protect the little one. All I want to be is a hero. And I think I'm sticking to that development plan pretty tightly.
Good PDP, have you?
I might have a way for you to be a hero of your own if you'd like.
He just raises one big doggy eyebrow. Go on.
But you'll need to stay with me for a little while.
Okay. Some training, maybe?
Would you be willing?
Of course, yes. Yes. And he kind of has a quick look around the room at all the equations and stars and stuff, and he's just like, yeah, I'll give it a go. To be honest, you could use some protection around here.
Zolan, Malkin, may I request your Fur Knight for a little bit?
Could you trade us some information? I mean, he's his own fella.
Yeah,
He's not in the air. He's his own
He's his
fella.
own
If he,
dog.
if he
yeah.
wants to stay, he stays.
There's something interesting that a Fur Knight is well positioned for.
How long do you plan to keep this guy for?
end of the tournament.
Just a little while.
So bloody
Hours?
cryptic everywhere, isn't it?
Hours, minutes, days,
Years.
doggy years.
He will find you when he's ready.
Listen, if I can help this quest with getting any
Yeah.
more cryptic information from this place, this is beneficial. But do me a favor, Malcolm, if you can, please. And he's going to take his little neckerchief off and tie it up in the corners so it's got all of his items in. You take this with you. You keep it close. Keep it safe.
Sure. Yeah,
These are
okay.
These are my things. There's some money in there as well, but keep your hands to yourself.
Your hands to yourself.
You have a reputation.
You know, when somebody eventually writes a book about all of this stuff, that is gonna be left out. Okay.
And
He's still,
Take
you,
it
you're
off.
still alive.
I'll put it in my pack.
from inside his fur, he's going to pull out a dagger as well. Like, so it seemed to be sort of like.
Where have you been keeping that?
I just keep it tangled in here. It's quite easy. You can never have too many knives.
That's right.
And he's going to give it to you, and you just pop an eyebrow over at Zolan, and he's going to be like, "Keep the little one safe."
Do you want me to stab it?
Plug the hole.
I keep meaning to ask you.
Pop up
Never
pirate.
had a chance. Why? How do you know about me?
I was told about you.
Who told you about? I try to live a discreet life. I was very surprised. Yet we haven't had a chance.
Discreet.
Very discreet.
I try. It's you lot, unfortunately, drag me into it. What?
I was given my freedom and told to protect a gnome in Wick a number of days across land from where I was in Equa.
Do you know who this was?
No, it was
I
a
have no
hooded
idea.
figure, and I took the opportunity to be a hero outside the arena, to be someone more than just a hero fighting pitched battles, but to actually have a real quest. And I took it on. Here I am. And people will one day know if Exfernite is more than just a plaque on a wall, someone who did something special.
Interesting. To find out who that person was.
I assume it's unimportant details.
Well, to me, it's very important. I would like nobody to really know who I am.
I'll be honest, Zolan,
Who
people
does he know?
seem to come out of corners left, right, and centre and give you heroic quests. I'm not
Yeah,
too surprised anymore.
it's a good observation.
We've been Dyronin,
We certainly have.
and until next time. I've said the
Die.